Alrighty, hello, welcome to ZeldaSpeedRuns, welcome back if you were just watching our Breath of the Wild race. And now we're off over to Ocarina of Time. It is the standard randomizer tournament. We are in Losers Bracket Round 2, and I am here with Devin for some lovely commentary. Hello.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Should be a good one, I reckon. We got two strong racers. Lower seed bracket, but they've proven pretty decent so far. Though, of course, one of them will be leaving our tournament after the match today. That is, unless they tie, of course, which has happened.
Then they just have to go again, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so both of these runners have made themselves known. Kevin coming from the Scrubs Season 2 tournament right into top 32 in just half a year, basically, which is amazing. PhoenixFeather being a well-known runner for a while now, having some races in previous seasons in top 32 as well. So it's really hard to say who's going to win this. Like, especially with how strong all of the top 32 runners were this season.
Yeah, it's always tricky to say who's going to do it, but these two are pretty damn evenly matched. So yeah, it's going to be a tough call to make, I reckon. But having said that, get your predictions in chat, because we are about to get on our way here, and we're starting Kokiri Forest. Interesting. As adults, not as child.
And we're seeing some divergence already. Kevin really playing into the song here.
Yeah, really starting with Bolero, so that might chain into another song here. Looks like he's going to dip Fire Temple straight away, maybe.
Looks more like a crater check. But it's hard to see. It's really hard to see.
I can
that's
tell
a Nocturne. That's another warp song. And PhoenixFeather, on the other hand, going for the hints, risking his life, rolling around these Deku Barbers to get the hints, which are very crucial. And it seems that Frogs 2 doesn't have anything. And
the other Frogs 2.
The Frogs 2 is actually copied to the Nocturne spot. That's actually quite funny.
Well, Phoenix will at least get one bit of information that Kevin doesn't have from this play. Whether it'll be a useful bit of information or not, we'll find out.
Yeah, we just have to see. It's just way too early to say anything. Lost
Woods
is a foolish choice. Okay,
that's good to know. That is useful.
That's so huge though. Like, Lost Woods is an area that has a lot of checks in a lot of different spheres, and both as child and adult. Like, some of them are only accessible as child, and like this also rules out Skull Mask, so that's like a really, really powerful foolish hint.
Yeah, Lost Woods can eat up so much time if you're just like if you're not aware of that. So yeah, having that information at the start is really handy, because Lost Woods as well is like an area you tend to hit up fairly early in the game. So yeah, Phoenix can just skip all of it now. You won't have to do a single check.
Did Kevin actually skip Midas House, or did I not pay enough attention?
No, he skipped Midas House. He just went straight for Bolero, and that was that.
And we have a bow in Midas House.
Okay.
I wonder what that's going to be used for.
Probably for shooting things. I'm not an expert on the sort of,
that would have been really handy
how
to
things
get
work, but
sorry.
Shadow is way the hero. Oh boy. Not quite what you want to see, although if it's a medallion dungeon, that's not so bad.
Yeah, we're going to see, but Shadow is always a scary one. Shadow has a lot of entry requirements.
Yeah.
So
also, in answer to what the bow is used for, apparently for jumping over Mido. So there you go.
Yeah. The best
that's how it works.
For a bow is to jump. PhoenixFeather really pushing the song here. Very smooth. Very nicely done.
Nice glitch set up, yeah. Kevin getting his bow now. DMC way of the hero. So
DMC.
Crater, of course, had Nocta, which is required to get into Shadow, so that's a pretty easy
that's
way
a
the
pretty
hero to
obvious
unpick.
Like, even if Shadow is a stone at this point, like, it's for the way of the hero, right? So it's like, it's not
Yeah.
that
That's just way
more
that's just way the hero leading into more way of the hero, so yeah, not very
It's a
helpful.
horse. We found our horse already.
Yay for horses. Goron Pottery is dead.
Child City is such an awkward place to route in. So always happy to see that.
Yeah, it's not quite as good as the Goron City Foolish hint, but we'll take it. Oh, I think that's bomb shoes.
Yeah, it looks like. Whoa, that looked fancy. Yeah, it looks like we have some bomb shoes on the crater.
Ooh, thank you for the gift subs there. Supporting the channel, very much appreciated. Kevin having a little bit of trouble with this Midas get.
Yeah, that's sometimes that's a little bit rough to set up. Okay, there we go. Meanwhile, PhoenixFeather checking early fire tempo. I don't necessarily disagree with this, but
it's tricky when you're on 3 hearts, as Phoenix just found out. Though, 'cause he's got a key, he could progress, but the heat timer would just knock him out straight away there, and end up losing time from it. So yeah, I think early fire dip is generally something I am a fan of, but not quite that early. I think when you've got so low health, it's not really worth it because you'll just be playing against the heat timer so much it'll completely screw you over.
Yeah, both of them basically trading locations here.
Yeah, getting their early adult plays out of the way. I suppose while they're sorting out that, I can go and update the chat commands. Let's get some of the information in there.
Very clean movement here on the Damper race. Also, Damper being pretty friendly to PhoenixFeather here. Pretty tame, actually.
It's always nice to see.
Yeah, sometimes Damper is just a jerk. But it looks like he's friendly this time.
Yeah, apart from the fact that he, of course, has absolutely nothing useful at the end of it, so a bit of a waste of time. But apart from that, it was perfectly gentlemanly.
Yeah. Yeah, nice, very nice 48.
Yeah, best time a human can get in there is 46, I think.
I think 46 is pretty accurate.
Yeah. Yes. Well, you can technically go faster than that by cheating the timer, but if you do that, it takes it takes longer than if you just do it normally, so it's not worth it.
45 even. Okay.
Oh yeah, with long shot you can go quicker as well, because you can grab one of the torches and skip a little bit.
Boomerang right off the bat. From without shooting.
Okay, that might be important. Might be very useful. Might be complete bait. Never knew you'd know with boomerang.
Yeah, it's always nice to have the boomerang. Except if Jalbu is a stone, then probably not. That's a vanilla Song of Storms.
Nice. Another one that can also be complete bait if it wants to be.
True. Like getting Song of Storms early on is, especially if you don't have a bomb bag or Zelda's Lullaby, or even if you miss both, is just when do you go in for the first time? Because you might all the items that you need might actually be like the first bomb bag might be in there or something, But it's also like, if you go in there and you don't find anything useful, you might have to come back at some point, which always feels bad. I mean, we have Nocturne, so that's not too bad.
Yeah, I'm generally not a fan of the well play. I feel like it tends not to pay off more often. It just doesn't feel good. But
that's how I feel with Ganon's Castle.
Ganon's Castle, yeah, Ganon's Castle almost seems to almost never pay out, but then sometimes it does, and it's really, really pain in the ass.
Yeah, but so
with
as
the
well,
you can kind of slightly nicer because it's lower sphere generally. So you can kind of sometimes get a little bit of a feel for it. It kind of starts to become a bit obvious if is likely going to be locking your progress, because you'll just be going through and you'll be like bottlenecked to it eventually. But Ganon's Castle doesn't really work that same way, at least most of the time. Of course, this is randomizer, so the roles can easily be reversed there. Like, could just bait you, and all sorts can happen. So you never really know. Yeah, they both got Boomerang. Just finishing up Cat now.
Actually, PhoenixFeather is going to buy a shield here. Team always buy a shield.
Controversial.
And looks like Kevin is going to go to market to check out the Medallion layout, get some more hints, and I figure maybe go Child at this point and get some more songs rolling. Songs are just incredibly powerful in this game.
Yeah, especially getting your warp songs early helps out a lot, with just giving you more routing options and just speeding up your travel time as well. So it makes sense to kind of just knock them out if you can.
Boomerang Chest is dead. Ocarina of Time, Cheapest Song of Time, and I think we got Serenade on Prelude check.
Yeah, I think that's right. So Serenade on Prelude, Song of Time on Song of Time.
Sacrificed Meadow had Epona song, right? So the horse potentially being Wave the Hero here. Pointing to GTG. With that bow, it might actually be reasonable to go in already, but I'm not 100% convinced. Maybe it's for like archery or something.
Which we can actually do straight away, come to think of it.
I mean, it's not AD just yet. It can be a very subtle one though. Like, you need it for key logic, like boss key in Water Temple behind River Chest or something. And it looks like we have our medallions. So Jabu is going to be the Forest Medallion.
Oh, we've got Stone Shadow.
Fire Medallion. Water Medallion is vanilla. And
Stone, chat's seeing it. Stone Shadow, Way of the Hero.
Yeah, Shadow is a stone. So the issue with the more linear dungeons of this game, like Shadow or Forest, when you know you have to go in, but you know you don't necessarily have to complete them, at what point do you bail, right? Like, you don't want to fully commit to a dungeon, which is easily like 13 to 15 minutes, probably.
Yeah, having to full clear is a pain in the bum, and if you just like go in and do like 4 chests and find, I don't know, like a hammer or something, like, wow, do I really want to do the rest of this?
Yeah, the issue is there might always be more, right?
Yeah.
So it's really hard to call. And especially in a 1v1 situation, you don't want to miss out on that good stuff, right?
Yeah, definitely not. Especially with a temple like Shadow as well. It is quite annoying to backtrack and double dip it because it's very linear. There's no shortcuts or anything, apart from the one right near the end. And if you've gone that deep at that point, you might as well just finish the place. We've got
this
also Temple Foolish.
This also gives you a good opportunity to metagame, right? If you know your opponent, like if you know your opponent always commits to a play, like he always full clears the dungeon he's visiting, or they are visiting, then you can like skip something, because like if you feel like they have better execution than you, you're going to be at a disadvantage anyway, so you're going to take some risks. So you want to avoid doing stuff that your opponent will 100% do, which you know of, right?
Yeah, I don't know whether these two will be able to metagame each other that well, to be honest. I mean, as I was saying at the start, they're pretty evenly matched, I reckon, so...
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, there's always an element of risk taking
It's an option,
go
right?
for. Yeah, it's an option.
No, but you have to know your opponent really well, and it can also greatly backfire. So, like, that's something you want to be really careful about. That's a lot of nuts.
Right, so long play. I guess Phoenix is going to probably do exactly the same thing here.
Phoenix has been following Kevin's footsteps for a while, but that's just because PhoenixFeather has the knowledge of the hints behind Deku Tree, which Kevin skipped. So, like, they are on equal footing right now, and it's way too early to say anything.
Ooh, hammer.
And hammer time! Oh yeah, PhoenixFeather did the first check and fire, very true.
Yeah, and we found a key in there, so nothing useful apart from the possibility of being able to continue, although since we've got the hammer now, we can continue in there anyway, regardless.
Yeah. Also, hammer is such a good early game item, right? Like, you...
Pretty much, like, the only thing that beats it is bomb bag, really, for early game stuff.
Like, hammer, like, getting hammer in an early sphere has a decent chance of unlocking explosives in some form along the bomb lock checks, like the usually bomb lock checks, right? And you cover a lot of ground, especially in the early game. And, like, if you don't have explosives, you have to kind of leave stuff behind. But with that hammer, you can pick up a lot of stuff along the way, basically. And it's also, like, you don't need to worry about running out of explosives because the hammer's just infinite explosives, basically.
Pretty much. So, Kevin choosing to save Warp out of Lon rather than play that Minuet song, so get to see what the spawn location is.
Like, you want to find out what the safe spot, like, if you want to, like, early game you want to find out your save warp, right? And
yeah, it's worth finding out before, like, you...
Yeah, if you teleport
it too late, and then, yeah.
That's the best time you can... That's actually a pretty cool spawn, yeah, I would agree. Especially with how difficult Child Goron City is to route in. And also it's pretty quick access to the Lost Woods and even River to that regard if you find a scale.
Yeah, it would also be quite good access to Lost Woods.
That's a free shield. But Kevin is not going for the free shield there. He didn't buy one.
Yeah, he didn't buy one. Phoenix bought one, right?
Yes, I'm pretty certain that. Oh, did Kevin also buy one? Okay, they both bought it. Yeah. Oh yeah, because Kevin got a bigger discount on that shield than PhoenixFeather did. It was like 35, which is almost 50%. Was like $5. A little bit disappointing, but like money is not as money farming is not as important in these settings because you start with Deku Tree with Deku Sticks and nuts already, so you don't need to buy all the sticks and Deku Shield especially. Like, you don't need to farm as much money as in Season 3 settings.
Yeah, which is good, I think. It saves a lot of kind of boring gameplay, really, of just collecting money a bunch of times. But yeah, at least we've got that shield as a spare now, so if anyone gets their shield eaten by a like, they can just come and go grab that one instead. No problem.
Very true. Yeah, I think just having a shield is much more important. Like, just having a guaranteed shield is much more important than actually worrying about finding one along the way. Like, you have it, and that's like a net time gain. And if you're right there anyway and you don't need to farm rupees for too long, grabbing it just takes a few seconds. And it guarantees you have one. The shield is just way too good. Not necessarily because of its defensive capabilities, but because it enables crouch stabbing, which is just broken.
I'll generally always buy a shield if I know I'm going to be hitting up a dungeon fairly soon. Because I don't want to end up like going to Forest Temple and just kind of hoping a shield might turn up. Because doing Forest without a shield
is so scary.
It's awful. I hate doing that. So yeah. But if it's just a case of plodding through some overworld checks, which is what they're doing at the moment, I generally won't bother. Like, I don't think it's worth buying a shield until you're reasonably sure you're going to use it. So especially with Nocturne being like super early. So, Vanilla Saria song there.
Yeah, so this is locked by the minuet. Well, no, it's not. It's not. No, screw it.
Is it?
I was thinking adult, but we're child right now. So, if Saria's song is Way of the Hero in any way, shape, or form, it's because of 2 checks, right? And one of them.
Check.
One of them is in Lost Woods, which is hinted dead. Which is hinted foolish. So it's basically 1 check. That Saria's song would be Way of the Hero for, and
that's good old dancing Papa D, yeah. No lullaby yet, so we can't actually check what Dancing Dad has got for us.
Yeah, not just yet. But we're in a good spot with safe warping. Kevin actually going for the checks here because he doesn't know that this is foolish. This is going to save PhoenixFeather some time in the long run.
Yeah, skipping that hint is
way too good.
Skipping that hint was definitely not good for Kevin here, because this is going to end up eating up quite a bit of time. Especially bloody Ocarina game.
Wait, we had Genna's... Was that Genna's Castle's Way of the Hero?
That was Genna's Castle Way of the Hero.
Oh, and it's in Lost Woods.
Yeah, Phoenix might not get that information, at least not for a while.
Yeah, PhoenixFeather will probably not get this from that specific spot. Like, if you don't have any business, you don't go there, right?
Yeah, there's no real... Unless you're really desperate for hints, you tend not to go for places like this, just for hints.
But it was inside Genna's Castle, right? Not outside Genna's Castle?
Yeah, it was inside. There's all 4 of our Way of the Heroes as well, so... we've also got both our foolish hints.
Oh, we actually got the water hint? Cool.
Yeah, we got water is foolish. Big Oran is dead, Fox 2 is dead. We got no hints for Skulltulas yet. We know OoT is vanilla, it's Song of Time.
Yep. But nothing about skulls yet. So the quest for hints actually continues here.
Yeah. Still got a couple more sometimes hints out there in the world as well, which can sometimes be useful.
I actually wouldn't mind dipping the well here. Because we'll run pretty soon to run out of things, right? Oh, I mean we have Hammer.
Hammer.
Hammer unlocked a lot of stuff. So this is definitely an investment that PhoenixFeather is making right now. And he basically has to hope that it pays off.
Yeah, we'll see, I guess. Dipping well with no ZL and no bombs is always a bit of a scary prospect.
Yeah, it leaves a bitter taste.
Yeah. Well, in some strange way, I kind of feel like this is maybe slightly better than dipping it with like either ZL or bombs. So if you dip it with neither of them, then when you come back here, you've actually still got a substantial amount of checks left. So it doesn't feel quite so bad double dipping it, but if you have one of them, let's say you have ZL being out of bomb bags, then you'll be leaving behind like maybe 2-3 checks. So coming back here just feels a lot more worse to play after that. It just can nag on your mind a bit, I think.
Yeah, just coming back for a handful of checks just feels awkward, and like regardless of the place you're going back to, there's nothing you really want to do. pretty sure there's in bottom of the world there's 3 checks that are locked by ZL, and another 1, 2.
I think it's 4 for ZL.
1.
You got the one.
It's 4. You're right. It's 4.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You got the chest here where Phoenix is just swimming over. One at the front, Dead Hand and Steve.
Yep.
And then yeah, bombs. You've got the 2 blow-upable areas on top here, and then the one in the basement.
Yeah, the basement is a little conditional though. Like if you have a key, you can also do it with strength or dins, and that's choose. That's so good. That's such a good. Oh, it's a 20 pack.
Ooh, that's spicy.
This is so good.
That's a nice find.
That's such a nice find. And with 20, you don't even need to be too careful at the beginning. You can just spam them, basically.
Yeah, especially with hammer as well. Yeah, you don't have to worry about bomb count anywhere near as much.
Yeah. I could actually see a DC play then soon with the hammer and the choose. Like, you can't do everything in DC with the hammer except for lighting up the eyes and killing King Dodongo, but you can do so with choose.
Yeah.
Which is not a logic whatsoever, but it's pretty handy.
Yeah, the front of DC will be in logic, like the first 2 checks you can do with just hammer. So there is, you know, some incentive to go there in logic anyway, without worrying too much about it.
Yeah. I would prefer to see, like, at least strength.
Yeah.
DC.
Strength is helpful, yeah. And that does logically unlock a couple more checks as well. Looking at lock pits. We only found 1 key here, so the other 2 must be ZL locked, I guess. Well, there could be one in the basement.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be. There could be one in the basement, but then that would also be out of logic because a bomb bag is a thing, right?
Yeah. Magic on Gerudo Valley there. That's all fine.
Gerudo Valley in these settings is a lot more powerful than it used to be, because there's with early Deku Tree gone because it's locked by Kokiri's sword. We actually the amount of Sphere 0 checks got reduced significantly, right? So each individual Sphere 0 check that's still left in the game is much more likely to have an item.
Yeah, it just makes Sphere 0 just that bit more dense with taking out the Deku Tree stuff.
That's a slingshot.
Okay.
I wouldn't complain about that. Wait, Kevin looked at that hint very, very quickly. I did not see what that was.
Chat, help us out here. What was that one? Was that Shadow Whale hero again? Okay. We did see that earlier. Can't remember what it was.
Oh, it was a duplicated Shadow Temple Wath.
Yeah.
Okay.
Might have been SFM, yeah. It was fairly early.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're still looking for the Skull Hints. This might be one. Nope,
It's
DMC
another again.
Greater Way of the Hero. Gerudo Valley being pretty strong with that magic. And the slingshot to an extent. Like, the slingshot doesn't really do much. It puts Goma in logic.
It's nice to have.
But Deku is a stone. Yeah. Otherwise, it's only used for one other check, right?
Yeah, which is Lost Woods again, which is foolish, so we don't care about that.
Very true. And regarding Spirit Temple Axes, which by the way is also a stone, if you have Boomerang, you don't need the slingshot there. And we got the Boomerang really early.
Yeah. Boomerang was cack shooting. Yeah, slingshot's not really gonna do much logically for us, I don't think. But we'll see. It'll be helpful in skull hunting, I suppose, if we need to do any of that.
Yeah, very true. Scumming Scarecrow? The fish is not playing nice. Let's try another one. I don't know what it is, but fishing minigames in Zelda games, like in any game, especially in Zelda games, though, they they're just super annoying.
Yeah, it's always a troll. Every single time. Oh, it's a small fry as well. Oof.
Yeah, thanks Copter for the raid. Also, hello raiders, welcome in. Kevin really struggling with the fishing game here.
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
I think that's
the fish
the big
just
one.
get the better of you.
I think he got the big one hooked. Just needs to reel him in.
Phoenix taking care of some Hyrule Field Grotto stuff is a bit unusual that he's chosen to do this all as child era, given he has Hammer and Epona song. I would have thought he would do this as adult.
Yeah, like you can even peek the crate with the Chew as adult from the other side. So this is actually a pretty curious decision here. And fishing was not worth it. Too bad.
Not really anything turning up in Hyrule Field so far.
Yeah, pretty uneventful. But PhoenixFeather is going to get that magic immediately.
Yeah.
Which is good for him.
But get a payout eventually for this play. Yeah, it does strike me as a bit odd to go for all those field grottos as child, and just you lose a lot of time walking about the field as child compared to adult, especially with opponents.
Well,
and
right?
shoes,
with the hammer, it's free, and you move faster with the horse. Or even if you backwalk as adult, it's still faster.
And getting Valley done, we definitely know that's a good play. And Sphere Zero anyway, so it makes sense to get it done. But you could maybe consider doing it as adult, or you could do it as child, but just come straight here, not do any of the field stuff.
Yeah,
that would still be faster.
I'm actually surprised that neither of these two runners are actually using the hammer to the full advantage right now. Because hammer unlocks so many things.
Neither of them have used it at all yet.
Yeah.
They found it and not gone adult yet.
Oh no, but where did the chicken go?
Chicken's gone on a journey. That's fine though. Phoenix should know the backup here.
Yeah.
It's a pretty straightforward one, to be honest. You just fall off and then you jump slash.
Did he get it though?
Yeah, he got it.
Yeah, he got it. Nice.
Pause buffering, I wouldn't say is particularly necessary there. It's not a super precise trick, but helpful to be sure of it, I guess.
I mean, you don't want to come back later for this.
Yeah, that's an annoying check to orphan. I'll say that I've never pause buffered that trick, and that's probably going to bite me in the bum next time I actually come to actually do it. And I end up missing the timing on it, because that's the way Sod's Law works.
But where's that Zelda's Lullaby though?
Yeah, good question. We know it can't be on Prelude, because we got a hint for that. That was Serenade. So we've seen Minuet, we've seen Bolero. What else have we got left? Obviously can't be Composer Grave or Ice Cavern. What else haven't we seen? I suppose
Wasteland, right?
Yeah, the desert.
It's not yet in Logic.
Could also potentially be on Burning Cack. Is a not very likely option because of Water Temple being one of the...
that would mean that Water Temple does not require ZL to beat it.
Yeah.
Which is a very, very curious situation.
Yeah, that can happen. So there's two checks that don't require ZL. But yeah, it is quite rare.
It's super rare. No, the issue with Ice Cavern is that Ice Cavern itself, like access to Zora's domain as an adult, is locked by Zelda's Lullaby by itself, so it can never be an ice. But it's a meme. Like the Ellen Ice Cavern is a meme indeed, and we like our memes.
Well, if you ever get an adult spawn in Zora's domain or something, in theory, I think then it could be an ice cavern. That's the only time it can.
Can it actually be an ice cavern then if you spawn there?
I don't know if it can on these settings or not, to be honest. I know it can with like full entrance rando, but with just the spawn points, I don't know whether the logic supports it or not.
Please prove me wrong. It can.
It can, okay. Yeah, I thought it would be. Yeah, it ought to be able to, because that's the way the logic works generally. Is like if you can access somewhere, even if it's with a save warp, it counts.
Yeah. But that's like super rare.
Yeah, there's only like what, maybe 2-3 entrances across the whole of like that little domain area behind the waterfall. So those out of however many overall entrances there are that you can spawn from, plus the song layout being just happened to be one of the ones that has ZL and Ice Cavern when that's an option. Not hugely likely, but it can happen. Yes, another Eaton shield. Both our runners managing to get duped by this like a bit.
Yeah, the like is just hungry. Going for his for its second serving of shield today. I mean, if you're hungry, you just gotta eat, right? PhoenixFeather still opting to use the choose and going for the Overwatch checks here as a child. Oh, and that's a bomb bag. That's entirely in logic though with that hammer.
Yep.
That's a really good find. So after Dodonga's Cavern, I suppose. It's entirely in logic, that's true.
Oh, of course, but what's temple on the finish command? Whoops.
And immediately going for 2 bowling here. That's some quick. That's 2 quick checks that you can do on the way to a dog. First check is nothing. And second check is a shot. Okay.
2 t-shirts.
PhoenixFeather not going for the Zora tunic here. I mean, why would they need to?
Very unlikely that they'll need it.
It's only logically required for 1 check in the game, being Central Pillar, and by the time you reach there, you have a decent amount of hearts, so you can actually hold your breath for long enough to clear the room and just go through if you need to. I mean, it's the only thing that it could be at this point that's like really holding these runners off would be boss key, right? Because a small key, like, there's enough small keys anyway. You only ever need 2, although it logically required you need 5 for a lot of checks.
And yes, chat, that commander is right. We've not seen a single skull here yet. Maybe we'll find one here on River. That'd be nice.
Yeah, maybe we get an unpleasant surprise. River play from Kevin's perspective actually not that bad of a play here, but I feel like the bomb bag the hammer just wants to be used.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like Death Mountain and places like that. Is that another magic? I think that's magic upgrade.
That actually another magic?
Pretty sure it was.
Well, Gerudo Valley not being as powerful anymore.
Yeah, not quite. Yeah, Fox 2 was dead, we got a hint for that. Nothing on Frogs 1 either.
Did we already see 10 skulls?
Yeah, that was Piece of Heart. And
Kevin already checked it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Sorry Song was vanilla, we saw that one. The other song in Sacred Forest Meadow was Epona's, so one of those is The Way of the Hero. Obviously, it was not the nut upgrade.
Yeah.
At least I'm going to assume it's not the nut upgrade.
Yeah, the horse at this point is way more likely. It unlocks way more checks than...
Yeah, that at the moment is our GTG access, so there's a lot behind Epona.
That's the Lost Woods Foolish hint. That's the other copy of the Lost Woods Foolish hint. So Kevin now knows too, but he already spent a decent amount of time there.
Yeah, it's better late than never to get that hint, I guess. At least he doesn't have to do Skull Mask.
Yeah, at least he got it before checking Skull Mask. That's just unfortunate if that ever happens to you. Nice piece of driftwood in the upper Zoros River. Entering Zoros domain here out of logic with the chicken.
There's a skull hint finally. 30. Ooh, excuse me. 30 hazard bullets.
Okay. I mean, you don't really need that. You just need to know it's there, right?
Yeah, usually you don't need that.
Usually. Also, we have a second medallion available and we have a bottle. So blue fire to like. There's no wait. That was the 40 hint right there.
I missed what it said.
Dead. I think it's just more choose. So basically dead.
Right.
And another Deku Shield from Link the Goron. All of these shields.
OoT hint again?
Oh shoot. Yeah, you're right. I don't really strongly agree with Kevin's Zoros domain play here, because like we don't have the letter, and you want like he's going to make one trip here to get whatever is here, and then he's going to go. He's going to have to go back with the letter, so he has to probably make the trek twice.
Yes.
And it's also like it's out of logic right now, so like.
I think the main issue I have with this, to be honest, is the fact that he's got nowhere to go after this. Like
he has the hammer though.
Yeah, well, he's gonna have to probably just warp out. Probably playing Nocturne, I guess, to get on to go to the next place. It's a bit of a dead end route. This.
Yep.
Not many other options available. It might pay out. You never know. Bleepy.
Yeah, but with just these two checks, it's like super unlikely. And it does not pay off. Okay, now PhoenixFeather also knows that Gan is casted with the hero. He might just that's the hint that he couldn't get in Lost Woods, right? By the scrub.
Yeah.
Because he never went there. And he's probably never going to. So actually, both of them have the knowledge that the other one obtained before them, without like being punished for it too hard. So that's good. Kevin lost a little bit of time in Lost Woods though.
We saw the Deku hints fairly early, because PhoenixFeather went for those, I think, right at the start, since they started in Kokiri Forest as adults.
Yeah, I just wonder why the 50 skulls hint is always the last one you find, right? Like it's the one that you want to have right off the bat, so you can plan ahead with skulls and stuff.
Yeah, it's by far like the strongest hint, really. I mean, arguably maybe OoT is stronger, but
Yeah, I think just like if you want to figure out the logic and stuff, OoT is probably the stronger one because it adds like up to 3 dungeons in addition to what you already need to complete the game anyway.
Yeah, I mean you can get away with not knowing what OoT is for a fair while though. Generally anyway, like it's not too punishing if you get it late. But if you get 50 skulls hints and it's something important and you get it and you don't get it till like an hour in or whatever, then you're not being collecting any skulls.
The worse it gets.
It can sting pretty badly.
Like if you already played half of your seed and like you've been ignoring most of the skulls, and then the game says, dude, you need to collect 50 skulls. Like, where do you get these from? Like, you don't want to go back to the areas you already visited because that's just a straight up time loss. And the more of the game you already cleared, the less skulls are on your way, basically.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in that situation, you pretty much have no choice but to go back and clear a bunch of areas you've already done. If you skip the skulls there, because you're not realistically going to be able to get them any other way. Like, unless you can pick up enough from dungeons, if you've got enough of those on your radar. But if the item you're after is something that blocks your dungeon access, then obviously you're not going to have many options left after that.
I really want to shout something from chat out. Shadow Warrior saying, Season 5 change, let's have the skull people tell you what they give. So, an interesting take, or like an interesting suggestion. Like, you talk to the people in the skull house and they tell you what their reward is.
Interesting idea. Yeah.
So there's like no punishment for not finding a certain type of hint, which definitely has happened before.
Ooh, letter on chickens.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
There's Lotus letter on chickens. If Kevin just did chickens before going there, like he could have cleared Jabu and would have been golden.
Yeah, Kevin. It looks like Kevin's going straight for Jabby now.
Yeah, he's.
I expect that's going to be his play.
Yeah, it's too bad that for him that he will go up twice, but like we don't know if PhoenixFeather is ever going to check chickens anytime soon, or like right. I think that's actually a good swing of momentum for Kevin here.
Yeah, I mean, the double dip to Zora's Domain isn't great, but I'd still take that over orphaning the chickens check.
Very true.
Not a good thing if you decide, I'm never going to do chickens unless it's hinted, because letter is kind of important. Although Jabby still isn't actually in logic. We've got no logical way of actually getting to the place.
Yeah, we still don't have the Zelda's Lullaby that we need to, or the scale, one of those two. But yes, we have been finding a strength in the Dungus Cavern.
Yeah, which is useful.
I mean, it's required, most certainly.
Likely to be, especially with Ganon's being away the hit ray.
Yeah. Also, we know that we need to complete Forest Temple, and we need at least one strength to complete it. With this medallion layout though, like if it wasn't for Forest Temple, you could have actually completed the seed without a strength upgrade. Is that possible? Because Jabu doesn't need strength. Water depending on key layout, and fire depending on key layout. If the boss keys are just early or not strength locked in any way, you wouldn't need strength for that. And to Dungus Cavern we already have Bomb Bag, which like kind of makes strength obsolete in this case. So if it wasn't for that Forest Temple, if that was like Deku, for example, you could actually clear the seed without a strength.
Yeah, it can definitely happen. It's one of those things that, again, is not hugely likely, but...
Yeah, I've actually not seen a seed be completed without a strength upgrade at all. Like, even if you don't need it, you still have it. Like, you get one somewhere.
Yeah, it normally turns out there are 3 of them after all, so... Yeah, you're likely to run into one sooner or later.
Yeah, especially since there's 3 of them. Like, just getting up one of them is like pretty likely.
There's a scale on King Dodongo.
Okay, so the scale actually puts what Kevin is doing in logic.
Nice.
This is pretty interesting. I wonder if that scale affects PhoenixFeather's decision making. But like he's already like as soon as he's like searching as soon as he's searching for letter and he's not doing chickens, like that's just a straight up time loss.
Yeah, I mean the scale is fairly meaningless to Phoenix without the letter, so
very true.
Till he does chickens, it's not going to help him very much.
So with that scale, actually, we could see a ZL on Burning Keg.
Yeah, definitely. That is on the table, that's for sure. I've seen water be clearable without CL a few times. Like if it's just Bosky or Compass Chest or whatever, then you can go away with it. It's no problem.
I think it's basically 2 checks, right? Map and Compass Chest, and that's
it. Yeah, that's it.
The rest is CL locked.
Yeah, they're either CL locked or they're locked behind so many keys that they're effectively CL locked.
Yeah, because like for everything that's key locked in water, you need all of the keys. I think that's how it works, like 5 at least.
Yeah, 5 of the 6, generally. Although it varies on a couple of the checks, I think. Yeah, certainly all the checks you could otherwise get to with the without changing the water level, like Darlink, they're all locked behind a bunch of keys, like more than you can get without CL.
I mean, water key logic and spirit key logic are nasty sometimes to wrap your head around, but we can be thankful we have logic because it guarantees that you don't break your tempo, right?
Yeah.
That you don't block yourself out. So we can complain about it as much as we want, but it's still good to have it.
It's there for a reason. Time for Ganon's Castle now. So only one strength, we're not seeing light trial just yet, but we can do, what, 7 checks in here? I think.
We don't have a hook shot, right?
Oh yeah, no hook shot, yeah, so we can't do spirit trial.
We can do 2 in water, 1 in forest, and the Bosky chest. That's 4 checks at the moment.
Yeah, we can't even get to shadow trial first chest, can we? Yikes.
With you can do spirit trial, yeah. It's out of logic, but you can. The silver rupees, you can bypass having a hookshot by pushing the statues and then jumping.
Kikiri sword though.
Yeah, that's a nice find. Well, actually, it's not really, right? It's not really.
Yeah. With Stone Deku, it's not a great find.
Deku is still a very powerful place because it's quick and it has a lot of checks, right?
I guess so, yeah. I mean, it's if you find Kikiri Sword by the hero, then you're definitely going to be thinking about doing Deku. It's not a case of, oh, it's probably bait. It's a case of, oh, it's pointing me in that direction. It's probably something useful there. But yeah, the useful thing, of course, might possibly maybe just be that stone, which is kind of bad to think about.
Very true. Ganon's Castle is such an awkward place just in these settings. Like, you don't know when you want to go in first for the first time, because the earlier you go in, the more checks you're going to leave behind. So essentially, the earlier you go in, the more likely you are going to have to double dip. And double dipping this place is just so awkward. And like, I remember seeds where I played where I, like, not counting to go up the stairs to fight Ganon, I like quadruple dip Ganon's Castle.
Oh, that's not good.
But PhoenixFeather getting that blue fire here, not a bad choice.
Yeah, it's worth having it available just for when the letter eventually turns up, although Phoenix might not find that for a fair while. Purple rupee.
Yeah, rank chest, full rank chest was hinted. That's true. That's what was one of the earlier hints that we got.
Yeah, we know it's Piece of Heart, I think we got in there. So only the Kikiri Sword to go off in Ganon's Castle. Does Phoenix just go straight for Deku Tree? Is that his play?
Really
shit, he's doing Spirit Trial.
He's actually doing it, okay? Pay close attention to this. This is a trick that's very hard. At least, like, I tried it a few times and I couldn't get it to work. I just couldn't get the precise jump slash to get the rupee. He's not even going to bother with the BMOS.
Yeah, there's Silver Rupee above the BMOS. Any Beta Quest player will tell you what a fucking arse it is. The hitbox is just so weird. It's so hard to hit. It's probably because you're meant to hit it from above. Like, it doesn't really work when you try and hit it from the side.
And he got it.
He got it, though.
Try.
Very nice.
Yeah, with Ganon's Castle Wave the Hero, you definitely want to do this. It's super precise. So we're going to see fancy bow extension through strats here. He has the shoes, but he's doing it. And very smoothly first try.
Why waste a shoe when you can use an arrow?
This is kind of to be expected from a top 32 runner.
Yeah, for sure. So, if we're getting anything good out of it, for all that swag, is it going to pay out a wallet?
It's a wallet!
Okay.
I would assume that with a bottle and bombs and boomerang, 30 skulls are in logic, right?
Probably, yeah.
But we know that...
And we've already seen Zora Tunic, and we already have access to Blue Fire.
We've already seen Zora Tunic, and we have Blue Fire, so it's not... Like, the wallet wave the hero is basically negated with that, because if it was for Goron Tunic, we have another wallet logically available to us. So it's either a Kokiri Sword or something Light Trial, and at this point, if I was PhoenixFeather, I would go for Deku Tree.
Yeah, it seems like it's gonna be the most likely thing to pay off. I think it's got a bit of child era stuff to clean up anyway, so...
Yeah, but speaking about, talking about PhoenixFeather ever going to go back chickens, it's probably when he has the L so he can full clear bottom of the well. But it's going to be quite late, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to go back to CAC as a child during the daytime if you don't have any other business there, other than chickens being your last location.
Yeah, unless the L happens to be on the desert and Phoenix needs to play to go out there, we're not going to be seeing that for a little while.
Yeah. I mean, these runners can, right? They can get to the Desert Colossus without needing hover booms or long shot or lens whatsoever. Right?
Yeah, they could definitely do that if they wanted to. It's a long way out of the way for one song essentially. Like, you can't even do any checks out there because they've got no double strength and they've got no ZL obviously unless it happens to actually be there. And even if it is there, it's one check.
Also, we don't have hookshot.
And no hookshot, yeah, which makes it a bit of a nuisance to get across the wasteland, although not impossible.
Yeah, like the hookshot is especially useful in Spirit.
Yeah.
Like, for most of the things, I don't actually really need it. But like, if you go into the main room where the statue is with the two hands, like once you drop down, if you don't have Furores, you can't. If you don't have a hookshot either, then you have to save warp every time you want to go back up.
Yeah, Spirit without the hookshot can be really damn slow. Thankfully, at least we do have Furores, so
yes.
If we need to make that play, we won't be held up by that.
It looks like Jabu was pretty much barren. Like there was nothing in here.
Yeah, I don't think we saw any items in there.
Right, there was a second bottle, I think.
Okay. Not anything particularly useful then.
Oh no, the second bottle is the Rotor's Letter. They had another bottle available. So there was nothing in there.
Oh yeah, we got a pie bottle from somewhere, didn't we? Can't remember where.
And PhoenixFeather with the Deku Tree play.
There's another 30 hint.
Yeah, another copy of the 30 hint, but where's 50?
Yeah, no idea where 50 is.
Where could it be? Maybe Death Mountain Crater or Death Mountain Trail, like up top.
We saw the crater hint already. Someone got that.
Okay, so
I think they got the I think we saw the trail hint as well. I want to say we did.
okay, maybe Hyrule Castle, like the second hint in Hyrule
Yeah,
Castle.
could be
Did we
castle
even see
hint.
the first one?
We saw the first one, yeah. PhoenixFeather already checked those hints. He did those like right at the start of the seed. So he knows what they say.
Yep. So let's see if Deku Tree holds up on his promise here.
We'll find out. Hover boots,
Oh, it's
okay.
Hover. That's logical access to the wasteland.
And also probably require far away the hero shadow.
If it's not for the lens, we still need the lens, but those hovers are pretty good right now. So ZL maybe in wasteland still.
Yeah, could be.
Also still, we know that Shadow Temple is Way of the Hero. So that's what the hover boots are for.
Probably, yeah, unless Shadow just happens to have an item like in the first chest or whatever.
So ideally PhoenixFeather pulls out another item out of Deku Tree, right?
I mean, for him, yeah, I'm sure I'd love to pull
Like if it's
out
just
like
hovers,
tons of items.
It's just hovers, dude. I mean, Shadow might actually have a few more items.
I mean, hovers still isn't too bad a find. Like, if that happens to be only what's in here, I think Phoenix will just roll with it. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, ideally, obviously, he wants to be able to find as many items as possible because, you know, that's the point of the game. So, yeah, if we can find more stuff in here, more the merrier, I guess.
Yep. Also, happy one or everyone. And I think Kevin might want to check Bolt of Destiny with the hammer he has.
Has he not done that yet?
Nope.
Oh,
Chad
boy.
was pointing out that he missed it. But I could see him just doing it with the hammer. Playing a Bolero. Okay, this is a Fire Temple play.
Okay.
Actually,
We've got a decent amount of hearts now, and he's got the hammer.
it's progression, and we have 2 bottles that we can fill up with fairies just in case.
Yeah.
We have explosives, we have a bow, no hookshot though, so... Oh, and Mirror Shield in Deku Tree, oh no. That's pointing to a stone dungeon as well. That's not something you want to find.
These weird heroes are just taking us in all the wrong directions now.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of bait potential here. Like, I would rather see nothing else than Deku Tree.
Yeah, Mirror Shield is worrying, especially when this is still kind of weird a hero.
I mean, I'm thinking about this. So, what if Water Temple, River Chest has the boss key, which would be Song of Time locked, right?
Yeah.
Then ZL cannot be on Burning Keg because ZL locks Shadow Temple from being completed.
Yes, yeah, because you need to go clear Shadow Voided Water.
Going into the wasteland and getting ZL from there might actually tell you something.
Well, it doesn't tell you anything about what water key layout's going to be. That could still be pretty much anything. I mean, it gives you more options when you finally get into Water Temple. But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, if you don't get it, it actually tells you more, I would agree. That's an item in fire. First item out of 6.
Yeah, I think it's probably 6 in here.
It is 6.
14 checks, 8 of them keys. And 1 boss key, so...
And the boss key. Yeah, it's 8 small keys, the boss key, and 6 items. So it's 15 chests in total. PhoenixFeather using the scale to his advantage here, making a quick dip into the lake from the top. But also, he does not have the ladder, so at this point, being up top here is not that powerful.
Oh, that's a 50 hint.
That's the 50 hint.
We've all past that like several times now, but there we go, yeah. Alright, so skulls are dead today. Unless 20 has something, which we've not seen yet. We're not going to need that wallet on 30.
Why is the 50 hint always up there, dude? Always.
It's like I said, it's just always the last one you find. Even if you have to walk past it twice to make it the last one you find.
I mean, Kevin didn't have much choice when he was up there, right? He had to make it, he didn't have ZL, so he had to make it in with the chicken. And you can either use the chicken to get in or check the hint. Can't do both.
Well, he could have walked out and checked the hint after he'd done Zora's Domain if he wanted to. Because he didn't have anywhere to go at that point. He just walked out. Neither of our runners fancies picking up that double magic.
I guess they don't need it. It's like if you're in a tournament and you're like in this kind of bracket where like every second, every frame basically counts, you're not going to make a loop for something that's 100% not necessary and just a convenience tool.
Yeah, it's pretty much like just a luxury item, so...
Yeah, it's not even like... If it was a big Goron sword, I would argue to pick it up, probably. Because that saves time over the long run. But for something like... double magic does not save time whatsoever. So it's,
yeah,
like,
I mean, it saves a tiny amount of time here and there, because you don't have to be quite so strict with your... with like getting magic drops and that sort of thing. Yeah, the amount of time it saves is just really, really minuscule. Like compared to Big Goron Sword, it like saves hardly any time at all.
Yeah. I mean, if you route your magic well enough, and like in places where you need magic, there's actually plenty of magic refills if you know where they are.
Yeah.
Certain enemies drop, and in Shadow you need magic all the time, but like there's a bunch of Gyptos or Readers that always drop magic. And in Spirit there's this one part at the beginning that you can break. Like, if you
Spirit's a bit meaner when it comes to magic. It's not definitely not as plentiful as it is through Shadow Temple. Even though you do need quite a bit of it still. So yeah, Spirit's probably the one where double magic can be the most useful, but it's still still not required by any stretch. And of course, Spirit is still a stone dungeon, so we might not even have to see that place at all.
Very nice glitchless jump setup by Kevin here, as he does not have the strength upgrade to push the block or bomb back to do a ground jump. You can do a kind of precise angled jump to grab onto the block and then pull yourself up, skipping all these requirements. Kevin is fully committed on completing this dungeon as far as he can, or as far as he probably needs to.
Yeah, it is progression, so it does make sense to go through this, like even if it's not in logic.
That's another key. I mean, we have the bow, so no risk of being bow locked, but if something ends up on Pierre, like boss key or small key, being on Pierre, or even an item, which is even more subtle, you are going to have a bad time. You basically will have to backtrack. And Kevin does not have Feroz here. Feroz actually saves a decent chunk of time in fire, if you know how to use it.
Yeah, it's definitely a very useful thing to have. But yeah, Kevin did not go to Goron City before this, unfortunately. Otherwise, he would have been able to pick it up, which, yeah, would have saved some time.
Yeah, but like I can see him do that after he's done here. Whether that's a completion of the dungeon or not, but he's going to be done here eventually. And then like you are already in the crater, right? You just go for Goron City and the stuff that's around it.
Yeah, I don't think Kevin's done any of Goron City yet, at least not as adults, so...
Oh, that's more shoes, well...
Yeah, handy.
Maybe he doesn't need a bomb bag.
I think that was only the 5-pack though.
Yeah, but still, like, we're still at 21 shoes, so... I wouldn't be worried. Like,
yeah, that's a pretty decent amount.
Yeah. As long as the shoes don't drop below, like, 5, I'm not concerned. That was a 10-pack. Okay. Thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, we're not bow locked in fire, but it doesn't mean too much. Since...
Yeah, Bo was like Bo was in Mido's house, so not really a logical puzzle about that one.
Yep. But what is PhoenixFeather going to do next? Is that an adult play here?
Yeah, probably. So he's planted the bean here at Lake Hylia, so I guess he's gonna maybe check that out in a bit.
Yeah, we're looking for the hookshot, and the hookshot can theoretically be on the 2 checks in Lake Hylia that require a hookshot income or a bean.
Well, Kevin's got his boss key.
But he's playing Minuet. He doesn't want to fight the dragon without a fairy. I mean, he could catch a fairy, but he probably doesn't want to burn all the shoes. I can see why.
I guess so, yeah. I mean, yeah. Beating Velvagia wouldn't actually open anything for him, apart from more of Fire Temple, potentially. He's got Bolero to just go back there whenever, so kind of makes sense he just doesn't, just to leave it for now until he's a bit better equipped.
Yep.
It's obviously not in logic for him to beat Velvagia yet, so...
True. I mean, it's technically hover boots locked, right?
Yeah, well, it doesn't have to be, actually.
Do we have enough keys?
Well, Kevin was out of keys, but he still had a couple more checks to do, so...
Yeah, he didn't open the shortcut, curiously enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have probably opened the shortcut there, to be honest, just in case he needs to do more fire.
Yeah, we have a wallet to buy the tunic, that's true.
Yeah.
And Kevin does not have it, but we know where it is. And PhoenixFeather's going for the second dip? No, okay, this is...
He's saying time of day.
Yeah, so... Funny thing about Ganon's castle, the moment you enter the area of outside Ganon's castle, the time of day is going to be set to nighttime, but not any time of day during night, but rather the beginning of the night where Dampé actually roams around. So you can use this to set up for a Dampé digging play as child, if you don't have Sunsong, which is really, really useful to know.
This one might have done Dampé, I can't remember, to be honest.
Even if he did Dampé, he probably wants it to be nighttime right now. Doing Richard, Richard is really, really awkward to route in sometimes, right? Because most of the time you are either in market during daytime or you're not in market at all. And with how the old 3-song route in Season 3 worked, you were guaranteed to be in market at nighttime pretty early on anyway. So there was no really rerouting in. Bombshell Bowling is open during the day and the night. It's open 24 hours.
Yeah, the lady just sleeps all day, basically.
Yeah, she just sleeps all day. She probably just forgot to close it. Yes, every time you enter it, it gets set to Dampé.
Dampé o'clock.
Dampé o'clock, yes. The dampest hour.
Nothing on Richard. Kevin's going to get... what was here? I've forgotten now. There was something here. Frost's win, that was it.
Yeah. Yeah, Kevin is probably going to be happy to have that. That's a thing that you always want to see. What really gets awkward with, like, we're talking about outside Ganon's castle, right? So one awkward thing that can happen is your adult's save spawn is actually in outside Ganon's castle. So every time you save, your time of day gets screwed. I've had that like twice already.
Yeah, that can be a bit of a pain in the ass. Alright, so Phoenix going for his fire dip now. Bit better equipped for it than Kevin was. Got bomb bag, force wind, and the strength upgrade as well, and bomb bag. So
And
potentially, and hovers, yeah. So we might be seeing a bit more of fire here potentially.
I mean, he's at least going to go to slay the dragon.
Yeah, I would imagine so. There's no reason for him to skip it this time.
Oh, that's another strength upgrade. Wait a second. Or was that the one that Phoenix?
No, that's the new one. The other one we got was in Dodongo's.
Oh yeah, the other one was in Dodongo's. So we already have strength 2 available to us. We also have, if we discard the need for lens, we can also go in and, depending on key layout, clear stone spirit, which would be.
We can't clear it without hook shots.
But yeah, that wall and I have a history together. It's not a good one. It's not a good one. I think I lost 2 tournament matches to this wall so far. In total, not just the current tournament, but in total.
Must be bad if you're keeping a running total.
I mean, I'm not that experienced yet. I just played 2 tournaments. And in one, I got pretty far, and in the other one, well, let's just not talk about it. Kevin going for the choose strat to open up the eyes, which is a really cool one.
Yeah, I like this one doing it from the left-hand side rather than the right, because
left side just right. I mean,
you don't have to worry about that stupid ladder soft lock, and you can just walk straight through the door and continue with the dungeon.
Yeah, this strat comes in 2 flavors, right side and left side. Right side, for some reason, is super inconsistent for me, but left side is super consistent. So, like, for some people, it's the other way around. So just, I mean, there's not really a clear advantage for one over the other. It's just a matter of like where you come from in the dungeon, right? In that exact moment, or like just your personal preference.
I think right side's generally probably a bit better if you're just going straight for the boss, but left side's a lot better if you're planning to explore the dungeon, because it's right next to the door. Basically, you just go straight for it.
I'm not sure about that, because like you can go to the right side and then like do the trick and then climb up and then do like get the hint, press the switch and stuff. Like you can use it either way. I think like either of them is fine for all the use cases. Kevin will get strength 2 from this Dodongo's Kevin play here. I wonder how this will affect his routing.
Probably not going to tell him very much right now, because he's got no... Well, I mean, I suppose he could maybe be thinking about Spirit, but to be honest, I can't see that being particularly likely. Also, hi, ZSR2, thanks for joining us with your raid.
The raid of 52 people, that's amazing. Welcome in.
So for PhoenixFeather, yeah, continuing fire, it's potentially a play, but Phoenix has a couple other options still, I guess. Although none of them are looking particularly great, has to be said.
Yeah.
So could go over to GGG and maybe do a bit of that. There's Kevin Silvers. can't do any more in well. He already did the bomb lock checks in there.
Yeah,
so
it looks like Ziel has to show up pretty soon. And it might actually just be on the other side of the desert, right?
It could be, yeah. We still don't have logical access to get across the desert, but
yeah, we're
the only thing we need now is lens.
Logically. But these two runners, they have good eyes, they don't need a lens. It's really interesting, like both of these runners basically trade places. Like they are basically playing ping pong the entire time.
Yeah, I mean the only real difference has been the fact that Kevin's obviously been able to get Jabu done.
Yeah.
That's kind of his main advantage at the moment. Apart from that, they're fairly even. Yeah, I could definitely see. I mean, with that letter on chickens, that can definitely come back and bite PhoenixFeather quite hard.
Yeah, chickens is just a really controversial check that most experienced players actually despise and just don't want to do it. I hate chickens with a passion. Like it's a check that takes between 2 and 3 minutes, and for just one item. Sometimes it's just hard to route in time of day wise or otherwise if you don't have a fast way to hack, and then most of the time it's just nothing. But this time it's absolutely required, there's no way around that.
Yeah, definitely.
Kevin picking up the scare. Hover boots are in Deku Tree, locked by the Kokiri sword and Way of the Hero Ganon's castle.
Yeah, and hovers, well, logically they're probably required here in Fire Temple. They don't have to be.
Probably for Fire Temple. More likely though for Wasteland, but even more likely for that Way of the Hero Stone Shadow.
Yeah.
But it's still lurking in the darkness, waiting to just ruin our day. Or like, as a viewer, not so much, but as a player, definitely ruining your day. At least it's hinted.
Kevin discovering he does not have 20 skulls yet. Must have miscounted. And yeah, Phoenix dropping the FW there, also opened the shortcut. So he's got both options available there if he wants to come back and dip this further. Guessing he's going to kill Volvagia. Can't see him bailing here after this.
And Kevin is calling his trusty steed.
Ooh, GTG Kai? I mean, with silvers, this kind of makes sense.
Maybe just clearing up some Hyrule Field stuff, like...
Oh yeah, getting his bomb bag, finally.
Oh, yeah, this is looking good. He's going for the bomb bag. So that's going, like... I feel like sometimes you don't really need a bomb bag if you have enough chews and a hammer and string. But just finding the bomb bag and knowing that everything you just did was in logic just feels so good. It's so satisfying. And it looks like we're doing some Hyrule Field checks and making our way to the Wasteland, or the Gerudo Fortress rather.
Yeah, most likely. So we can see all the Hyrule Field checks that Phoenix did earlier, although I'm not sure if he actually looked at this one. The Underwater Heart piece, which is bomb chews.
There's so many chews, but these are unavailable at the moment because we need either a second scale or the Iron Boots.
Phoenix reset there. I think he ran out of time on the heat timer.
Yeah, that's always rough. Sometimes, like,
Okay.
sometimes Volvagia just doesn't want to play along with your silly ideas, and then
Yeah, he didn't get the 2 cycle there or the 1 cycle or whatever. He was going with bombs rather than bomb cheese, which is a lot slower, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I actually prefer the bomb strat. I never really tried the too long
the bomb shoe strat is far superior. Yeah, I would recommend to everyone and anyone to always or try and learn the bomb shoe strat because I think it's easier, to be honest, than doing it with bombs. I mean, choose, you can just whack them out, just go tune up, get it done, get the 7 or 8 hits, and then you're away. Whereas bombs, they take so much longer, so you're vulnerable for a longer period of time. So you're more likely to get hit by the dragon, you're more likely to get troll hold, you're more likely to just have a bad time in this fight. So yeah, choose strats all the way.
I feel like with, like, as Dots was pointing out, with bombs you need to be aware of 1 troll hole, but with choose there's actually 2 more, or like even 3 more, that where Volvagia can ruin your day.
Yeah, but if you get one of the nearby holes, all you do is just move, because you don't actually need to be near the hole to do the choose strats. That's the other thing, because the choose will travel, obviously. So if Volvagia pops on a hole next to you, you just walk over to another bit and then just keep throwing choose at him.
Yeah, the bomb strats are a little bit slower, but they are a little bit safer. And it's like that. I think that's just personal preference at this point. Like, if you want to play it safe, you should just like play what you're comfortable with, right?
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be like, jumping on a new strat during a Bloon tournament match or whatever. You need to stick with what you know when you're up against the clock like this.
Wait,
nice double Ds.
Was that Volvagia TDs?
Yeah, it was.
No. It's just like finding the double defense because of the TDs meme. Like, because of the checks they can be on sometimes, it just creates so many fun situations. Like,
yeah, we had another key there as well, so Volvagia wasn't hover locked. We had access to the fire without her.
Yep.
So not that matters because we know hovers are anyway, so it doesn't make a difference to logic.
But yeah, Kevin following the way of the hero horse.
Horse of the hero.
The horse of the hero. I mean, that's not a lie, right? It's the horse, and it belongs to the hero.
Well, does it belong to Link, or is Link just borrowing it?
He won it in a bet from the owner of the ranch at that time.
So
true, I would say he owns it.
Seems reasonable. But the owner of the ranch wasn't really the owner of the ranch, though, was it? Because he kind of stole it from Talon.
No, Ganondorf gave it to him.
Oh, yeah. Well, do you recognize Ganondorf's authority in this matter?
Ganondorf's the king.
I don't really recognize Ganondorf's claim to authority over jurisdiction of Lon Lon Ranch. So
I mean, Ganondorf was kind of the conqueror of Hyrule, right? So
yeah, but you know,
he even has the castle. So
hashtag not my king.
Not my king either.
Right, what's Big Po's gonna have? Another check that's been sat around waiting in logic for us to check for a while now, and could be part of that opponent's way of the hero, potentially.
Very true. It's nothing.
Harpies.
That would have been really good for PhoenixFeather. Especially considering that he needs that letter pretty soon. I mean, Jabu didn't have anything, and the song on Forest Medallion is not important. So it might actually still be a while until PhoenixFeather actually needs to get it.
Yeah,
Unless there's
we
something
still.
in ice, though. If there's something in ice, it would be in for a ride. And not a pleasant one.
Yeah, or anything locked behind ZL if it turns out that's on Burning Cack, because Jabu locks that as well.
And that's why I think you want to go to the desert right now, because you want that information.
Yeah.
Like, just crossing the wasteland is worth the information you get.
I know we've got FW, so although Phoenix obviously has already used it in Fire Temple, but yeah, either of them could leave that FW in Spirit Temple if they wanted to. They feel it's going to be important. Kevin, of course, has the option to dip Spirit Temple with the silvers.
Yeah.
Don't know whether that's an option he's going to take or not, but we'll see.
PhoenixFeather does not have the silvers though, so if there's anything in like early Spirit and Kevin decides to dip it, or like even in GTG and that's Strength 2 locked, this is an even bigger advantage for Kevin here.
Another scale.
Although Kevin
horseback archery.
Ooh. So double scale wave the hero, but what for?
Well, lab dive. It would have to be. Yeah, it can't be for Water Temple. Under these settings, that's not a thing that can happen.
Like,
yeah, it can help.
Maybe we don't need it. Ice on lap dive would be crazy. And that's a GTG tip.
Yeah. You'd be pretty foolish, I think, to skip over GTG at this point. With opponents.
It's going to be interesting though, right? Oh,
another strength upgrade.
Okay, this is going to give PhoenixFeather strength 2, so that's actually going to bait him out. But with this, Kevin can actually go and full clear the trial. Well, not full clear trial.
Almost full clear the trials.
Almost full clear the trials. And light trial is just, it's like what, 8 checks? It's insane. Light trial by itself is insane.
Well, actually, no, it's only 7 because we don't have ZL.
Yeah, but it might also just be for the Kokiri sword again in way.
Yeah.
I feel like whatever Kevin finds in Light Trial will actually push him away from the Deku Tree play. But what could he find?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, he's going to see Kokiri's way the hero anyway, so I don't think it's going to push him away too much.
We could actually have a first hookshot in Light Trial, right? Because none of the stuff that we were doing was logically locked by hookshot.
I think you're right there, yeah. Most likely.
Oh, that's so mean. That's so mean. But it also allows you to full click Anna's castle right away.
It does, like, yeah.
Oh no, not entirely. Oh wait,
there's irons. Okay.
Well, it looks like Kevin actually found enough here for his first visit. He's setting for Roars and he's going to bail. Also, scale, not hard required.
Yeah. Might still be something on lab dive potentially, but yeah. Unless that's a hook shot, it's not going to make a difference.
Yeah, Kevin is going to go for the song here across the wasteland out of logic. Well, yeah, we are still missing the lens logically.
Yeah,
the
that seems like a reasonable play.
Archery.
Yeah, strength for 9 boots both in GTG, and apart from one of them being bow locked, they're pretty much just free items, so yeah. No need to do hook shot lists, although that could still pay out if Phoenix fancies going for it.
Light arrows on the lab roof, which Kevin had to skip because he doesn't have a hook shot or hovers. This is... I mean, once Kevin gets the light arrow hint at the end of the game, he knows exactly where to go.
Yeah, a bit rough there having to come back here for it.
Yeah, but like, having set for Roars, that's not too bad.
Yeah, he might get that chest if he comes back to GTG later with the hovers.
Nice naked wasteland setup for Kevin. Just back walking over the sand pit without anything. Pretty effortless.
Yeah, I'm not going to have any trouble here, I don't think. Or just as I say that, he's gotten a bit lost all of a sudden.
Yeah. Like, the sandstorm really doesn't help with seeing things, but if you have magic and you do a quick spin...
Oh, he voided.
He voided, no. This is rough.
Didn't
It's
he?
really hard
He
to
got
see.
past the hard part and he avoided on the easy part.
It's really hard to see. Quickspins can help you with visibility. I think he got it this time.
Hopefully he's better. Gonna do better now. No idea what those hook shots are. We've not seen anything to point us towards them.
Light Trial. Like, Light Trial has a very good chance.
Yeah, I mean, Kokiri Sword is probably what the way here is pointing to, but you could definitely see something else being over in Ganon's castle. Other than that,
could it also be in like Shadow somewhere? Like hookshot in Shadow with hovers? And if the in...
Well, I suppose it depends where Dins is, because we need that to get in.
We would still need Dins. Dins could be in Fire. Like this seed has a lot of potential to be very, very bad.
Yeah.
The strength that
you missed the one on Jig's wall.
Yeah.
On Death Mountain Trail. Alright, we finally get a song check after about half an hour, and it is the L.
And there it is. We found it. But what does that Zelda's Lullaby do right now for us?
Well, it's not in logic.
Well, that was a hint for King Zora.
King Zora is a blue P.
Okay.
Interesting, Kevin's not even checking a fairy fountain. He's going straight for the next song.
Oh, he didn't check it, you're right. He didn't do it.
Yeah, deciding not to do anything in Spirit Temple
he's
area. Not even saying FW there.
No, I mean, having for Roswin set in GTG probably doesn't want to lose that.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
Still pretty close to Spirit, and Spirit is still stone. I think he wants to see what the songs are, or like what the song in particular is, and then go for Ganon's Castle right away.
Yeah, I suppose so. Still,
yeah.
I mean, skipping that fairy fountain there, that's ballsy, I reckon.
Yeah.
That's a pretty ballsy play.
I have to say, is sometimes like I get an item immediately, and if I can use it in the same location, I just forget. Right? Like, especially if you're playing a seed for a long time without a specific item, it's very, very hard to suddenly get used to having that item already while you're in the area. That's like...
Yeah, I get that. It's just that's not something you'd expect a top 32 to like blank on. You know, normally they'll try and fit in those checks if they think they're worthwhile.
But then again, top 32 players are still humans and
can
make mistakes like this.
It could be a mistake. It might be calculated risk. You might just think, well, I've got to yell, there's far better things for you to do, and it's only one check. I don't know.
Krista Joyce 730. Thanks for the 5-month resub. How the game is going, it's we got a lot of good stuff in the beginning, but it has like slowed down a little bit, and now it's in the verge of picking up again with finding strength 3, and
it's
still missing that hook shot though. Like,
yeah, the hook shot's the main thing at the moment. Like, it blocks so much other stuff.
Yeah, we have a lot of stuff pointing to Stone Dungeon at this point. With Shadow Temple being Wave the Hero and a stone, we have hovers in a Deku Tree, which is also stone, which is locked by a Kokiri Sword and Wave the Hero, Ganon's Castle. Oh, Kevin did not pick up Prelude yet. Wait, did he not? When you go adult after Jabu, you get it, right? So Kevin actually
Yeah, I
has
would have
a
thought he.
Prelude.
I would have thought he
Oh
did
no,
it.
it was Serenade. Sorry,
It was Serenade. Yeah.
It was I blanked for a second. It was Serenade. Yeah, so he is going to cash in big pose here and then go back to go to Ganon's castle finally, and then we're going to see if there's anything on Light Trial. Hovers are in Deku.
Yeah, so it's cannons for the Kikiri swords, which then leads you to Deku for the hovers. And then, well...
Did we see anything else in GTG, by the way?
Iron Boots were in there as well.
Yeah, but Kevin picked those up. But
Yeah.
after the Iron Boots, we didn't see anything else, right?
Yeah, we're not seeing anything. So yeah, not seeing anything in this hookshot display that Phoenix has been doing so far.
Yeah, Kevin probably thinking that hookshot is not really worth it at that point.
Yeah, so far he would be right about that, but we'll see if it
PhoenixFeather
maybe
really
pays
hoping,
off.
At this point, you're hoping for an out of logic long shot, right? Which becomes your first hookshot then.
Yeah, potentially. I don't think that's hugely likely to happen, to be honest.
I mean, GTG has a lot of checks, and we have the horse already, so it's not that unlikely. But there's still a lot of other checks where it could be.
Yeah, we have a lot. We have like 2 unresolved by the heroes still. So I think at least one of those has to lock our long shot. Because I don't think there's anything else that can actually lock.
I mean, I would say at this point Shadow Temple probably has at least one hookshot.
Yeah, most
so
likely.
Maybe Ganon's Castle has Dins in Light Trial. Maybe. Like either directly a hookshot or something that unlocks a hookshot, because we are going to need a hookshot soon. PhoenixFeather going for right side here, probably attempting to scum the keys. That's 2 keys on right side. If 3 keys are on right side, Song of Time is even hard required. Okay, it's not. It's 2 keys. So if there's a key on toilet, this is an AD seed.
Well, it depends on what's in GGG. Doesn't actually have to be any items locked behind those keys.
If there's anything in the center. Like if center chest is an item they need, and toilet has a key, and there was already 2 keys on right side, that would mean that with we have 2 keys to spare. If we have 9 keys, you only need 7 to reach the center, but you logically need all 9. So now it already is a logical AD, right?
No idea, to be honest.
With the 3rd key locked behind Song of Time, it would turn into a hard AD at this point. That's a bottle of bugs, not particularly useful. But like, even if the center is something, we're not going to see it for a while.
Well,
that's literally
how many keys we need?
Right?
Phoenix has enough keys to get to the center now.
Oh, we have enough keys, so toilet is actually an item.
Yeah, it must be. Must be an item.
Well, okay, that's good.
Is it?
But also, that's good and bad, because you're going to see this, but you're not going to see toilet. It's like, it's the same thing, basically, right?
Sort of.
Just
that's a bow.
Yeah, like if it's toilet or center chest, it's either way it's one item that's hard locked behind Song of Time. That's a hard last location for anyone, I would say. Let's see what Light Trial has in store for us. Kevin is going to show us.
Yeah, could be hookshot here if we're lucky.
Hookshot or Dins, maybe. I would actually see, like, Dins would make more sense because hookshot can just be in shadow. And there's Dins!
There it is.
I said it. So that Din's probably leading to the first. Like, this logical chain is just garbage, dude.
Another bomb bag. That one can't be way the hero, hey?
Yep. So the game wants you to get all 3 strength upgrades, but you're supposed to get the hammer first to get your logical bomb back from Bolt of Destiny, to beat the Dungus Cavern and get your strength. Then the other strength is also bow or hammer locked. Bomb or hammer locked. And then the third strength is in G2G. And then you're supposed to go to Ganon's Castle and then pick up your Dins to go into Shadow and get your first hookshot. That's insane. But
yeah, that's pretty bad.
We've seen worse.
So yeah, Shadow Temple now available to us. Kevin, of course, still does not have the hovers yet. He's about to pick up Kikiri's sword, which will lead him towards that. But I can see Kevin probably dipping Shadow before he does.
I mean, he can't.
Before he does
doesn't have a
Deku.
hookshot. He can't go in.
Oh, of course not. Yeah, of course, can't get
You
past.
need either a hookshot or hover boots to access the first two checks in Shadow.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So you can't do anything with that. With that Dins. Well, almost nothing. You can do like compose a grave chest and a couple of bits like that. But...
So hover boots wave the hero for hookshot in Shadow Temple. For lens.
Can't be fire. Well, I suppose it could. Could it be fire arrows for Shadow Trial?
That could be true, yeah.
That would be so awful. What would that be? That'd be like triple dip Ganon's Castle?
Yeah.
Fucking terrible.
Also, there was one thing I was thinking about, but I think I lost it. It's gone. Oh yeah, speaking about lens, right? So there's lens. If Shadow is just wave the hero for the lens, and the lens is logical desert access to get your first hookshot in Spirit, that would be stupid. Especially like, if you find the lens early in Shadow, do you bail or not? Like that creates a very interesting situation.
That's a bit of a dilemma. If you don't have hookshot by that point, probably you keep going till you get hookshot locked, I reckon.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I actually agree with that. Like you're going to continue until your hookshot lock, nonetheless. I think, regardless of what you find.
Yeah.
The more you find, though, the better.
With the way the seed is set up at the moment, like I mean, you're clearing all your way the heroes until you find that damn hookshot. You can't really afford to leave stones unturned, with something that important missing.
Okay, so as far as Spirit goes, we are either hookshot or child locked here. So
yeah.
The theme that first hookshot in Spirit is a bust, it seems. Also, I think Requiem is going to be on
But it'll be Burning Cack or Ice Cavern.
Oh, yeah, we still have Ice to go. But isn't Ice Cavern in Logic right now? Pretty sure it is.
Kevin doing some animal cruelty there.
This dog, I dub this dog the killer dog, because sometimes like you drop the shoes and then the dog just kills you.
The dog's revenge.
I've seen it before. The dog just like that dog doesn't mess around.
Yeah, nothing on the Desert Fairy, so Kevin not punished at least for skipping that earlier.
Yep.
So what's Phoenix going to do next, I wonder?
Looks
Praise
like
the Fairy?
Yeah. Like, putting that ZL to use right now is probably the best bet he has.
Yeah, it seems to be what both our runners are doing now, just seeing what they can get out of ZL.
If he goes to check the creator wall, the Death Mountain trade wall, he's going to find that strength 3 that's going to push him back to
to Ganon's
castle, which in turn will push him to Shadow.
Yeah. Yeah, because unlike Kevin, Phoenix can actually get into Shadow Temple if he finds that din, so he'll almost certainly make a beeline for that since that's why the hero.
Yeah, so this is like a slight advantage that PhoenixFeather has in that regard, but he's still entirely behind and needs to pick up that letter. That's the biggest concern PhoenixFeather just has.
Yeah, that has the potential to just completely screw PhoenixFeather out of this, getting any sort of decent time in the seed. If he last location is that, then he's screwed. It's like totally screwed.
I mean, that's a check that many good players just push back on, and like that's a check you don't want to do.
Yeah, and like it's not like even like Catway the hero or anything like that might even, you know, hint towards that being an important thing to do.
Maybe Kevin actually metagamed this. Knowing that PhoenixFeather is a seasoned veteran of Ocarina of Time Randomizer, I bet he knows that PhoenixFeather doesn't like to do chickens. So
there's nothing on Papa D, so I think that means we can now finally rule out Sari as being Way the hero.
Yep. That was a dud, unfortunately.
So it's definitely a Pona, which is almost certainly for that Gerudo training grounds access.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Looks like PhoenixFeather actually skipped the Death Mountain Trail wall.
Skipping that and skipping chickens, this is not looking good for Phoenix.
Yeah. Looks like PhoenixFeather's just going to stumble from last location into last location into last location. That's just going to hurt.
Yeah, and Kevin's got a fairly like straightforward route from here. It looks like he's probably going to do Deku Tree next. So that's going to get him his hover boots, and from there he can go into Shadow obviously, and we'll see what that brings us. It's most likely to drop a hook shot on us, maybe even 2 hook shots.
It has to be at least 1 hook shot.
Yeah. The second hook shot could be more or less anywhere, annoyingly.
We need that thing, like, right now. What else could we find except for the hook shots?
Lens.
Don't we already have everything? Lens, okay, but
yeah,
like just to beat the game, don't we have everything already?
Yeah, we are like, 2 hook shots from go mode at this point.
I mean, we are already almost 2 hours in, so like getting at least between the 2 runners, getting into no mode is pretty likely to happen soon, unless there's something on toilet.
There's nothing to say this is logical AD or hard required AD at all so far. But yeah, there is a bit of a question mark around that because we don't know what the key layout and water temple is going to be.
Yeah, that's like either toilet is a required item or boss keys on water.
It's not looking likely to be an AD, but yeah, we'll have to see.
Yeah. So the way that logic decides where the boss keys ends up, like the boss key in the dungeon always gets placed first, and with Water Temple has 11 checks. One of them is Morpher, so 10 checks where the boss key end up. So it's a 10% chance that the boss key is in that specific spot. So a 10% chance that it's AD for just key logic in water. I mean, logically there could be a small key on there, but that would also be the spare key, because it's locked by 5 keys. So
yeah,
if it's not the boss key or an important item, it's irrelevant. This is where the sometimes hint for Water Temple River Chest would be really, really nice to have.
Yeah, if that could turn out, that'd be really nice. We do have 2 sometimes hints still left out there. We're not found.
Very true.
They're probably going to be in some really annoying location, like back of Hyrule Castle or whatever. So not likely we're actually going to see them. I suppose it could be back of Lake, maybe.
Honestly, like if I'm really honest, if I had all my Way of the Heroes and Foolish and always hints, I would just, like, if there's a few sometimes hints missing, I would just skip hints at that point.
Yeah, same here.
Like,
it's not worth going out of your way, really.
Yeah. The issue is that the sometimes hints, because we don't have that many hint stones available to us in this season, they are unique. Like they're like with the way of the heroes and all the other hints, there's one copy of each hint. But that's not true for the sometimes hints. So going for the rare chance that a hint stone that you're about to check actually has the one hint that you want to see is not very likely. And on top of that, the sometimes hints are not as powerful as the other ones are.
I mean, they can be more powerful, but
they can be.
It's not very likely for them to be, as a thing.
I mean, only if there's if there's a hint for it and there's an important item on there.
Yeah.
Then that's when they are the most powerful.
Yeah, a chicken's hint would be super powerful if Phoenix happened to find one of those.
If PhoenixFeather found a chicken's hint, that would be huge. Yeah,
DMT strength would still be a problem, that is true, but it would certainly bail out Phoenix a fair amount if he at least knew what was on chickens. Because otherwise I don't know when the hell he's going to go back for that.
So Kevin actually being in a really good spot here in terms of, it has a decent lead.
Yeah, it's looking like Kevin is ready to lose at this point, but kind of depends what we find in Shadow, I guess.
Or what we don't find.
Yeah.
That's always a thing in Rando. Sometimes it's about the things you don't find rather than the things that you find. Something in toilet, there has to be some item in dumb location that actually.
Ooh.
Wait, that's the hook shot.
Did you just say item in a dumb location? Because that's a hook shot in a really dumb location.
Yep.
Beans locked hook shots. There we go.
I mean, it depends now. I would assume there's a hookshot in Shadow. Now it depends on if it's hookshot locked or not, right? If it's not hookshot locked, that's good for Kevin, because he can get that, then clear legs at some point later, and get the long shot with the hookshot without planting the bean.
Yeah, but if Shadow is where the hero just for the lens of truth, then that's gonna be so painful.
Would be so stupid. Lens bait.
Right, Phoenix is going to go sort out Forest Temple now, so he'll be jumping in there for the next 10-15 minutes or whatever for this lovely boring dungeon, but still quite a few checks in here, a few items, so there's a potential for something decent to come out in here, but
pushing Forest Temple progression here very important right now.
Yeah.
We could also find the lens here in Forest.
Yeah, both lens and longshot could be more or less anywhere. Of course, it's longshot that's the one we actually care about, so I think it's time for a bet.
I really wonder, if Shadow Temple is really just bait, then PhoenixFeather gets bailed out big time here. Because he wouldn't need to get the strength 3. Because
he gets bailed out, but I don't know whether it'll be enough or not. So yeah, it still depends on.
There's a big amount of variables here. So Kevin is still favored at the moment.
Alright. Time to open betting, everyone. So get your bets in, please, on where the second hookshot is going to be found.
That's a really good bet.
As always, my bet is that you'll all guess this wrong. Those are the rules. I make the rules up. It's all my doing, so if you don't like it, screw you. Get it right and prove me wrong, chat. See if you can beat me. I rolled the seed after all, so it's my awfulness you have to try and work out. So we know Shadow has to be where the hero is something, but if that something turns out to just be that lens, then Longshot can be more or less anywhere in the world after that point.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing going to be actually pointing to it after that.
In these settings, lens logic is not lens is not bait as often, right? But
yeah,
I
we
came
know
from-
it has to be required in the seed logically to get across the wasteland.
Yeah, for the wasteland, not. But for the wasteland, logically, it has to, but it's not hard required. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I originally came from the Scrubs environment too, and we had a custom lens logic which, like, in addition to chest minigame and crossing the wasteland logically, you were also logically required to have the lens for everything in Shadow Temple after the invisible moving platform.
Right.
So,
okay.
which with having Shadow, which will wait a second. Grasping for words here. With having more checks that rely on Shadow, or more of the game relying on lens, sorry, the likelihood of lens being bait actually increases. So we can consider ourselves lucky in that in these settings the lens logic is actually good.
Yeah, even though lens can still be bait sometimes, and this might be one of those times.
Yeah, so for entertainment's sake, we hope that it's the lens and Shadow and nothing else, right? But for the runners, like from the runner point of view, because I'm a runner myself, more than I am a commentator actually, so if I was a runner in this situation, there was nothing I would hate more to see than the lens and Shadow.
Yeah, because they really don't have to be like scouring everywhere for it. Ideally, they just do the progression dungeons and get the items they need, but yeah. Life isn't always that kind, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, that's also a reason why you always do your progression first if you can.
Yeah.
Right, like if, in this scenario, if you had a lens and Shadow and nothing else, and Longshot is actually in forest, but all of that just gets put into logic with, like, what would we even need, logically need ZL for then? If we need to cross the wasteland to get ZL, but ZL doesn't lock anything.
Well, ZL might lock Water Temple. Probably reasonably likely to lock Water Temple, to be honest.
Even if it's just a small key.
Yeah.
Kevin doing the bomb strats here. Finally going back into fire to slay the dragon. Being a lot better.
Don't know whether we'll do any more of this. I wouldn't imagine so. Well, he's got the hovers now, so he knows he's got to do Shadow after this, surely.
Yep.
Yeah, opponents was needed to cross the wasteland.
Wait, so that would mean the long shot is actually ZL locked. I would actually assume that the long shot is in Shadow after the boat then.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because we weren't actually ZL locked out of that first hook shot, were we? We didn't need CL for the domain or whatever, so... It
doesn't have to be ZL locked.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. Might be one of those odd rare seeds where we don't actually need ZL for anything. I don't think it's actually given us
because the horse
useful.
waved the hero to get the strength 3. Because the long shot is locked behind strength 3. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, Shadow is locked behind strength 3, we know that.
I mean, we can 100% rule out, as we stated earlier, that Saria's song is required for anything. Because the only check that Saria's song enables that's not in a foolish location was already dead.
So yeah, opponents was needed to cross the wasteland to get the strength to get, well, to get to Gan's castle, to get the Din's fire, to get into Shadow, to get something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, it's looking likely that something is going to be a hook shot. Like, if that's the lens, it doesn't quite add up, really. Because, like, then it's the lens, then you need that to get ZL. I suppose then it probably means that the second hook shot either has to be in Shadow or it has to be ZL locked, I think. Like, one or the other. Don't think it can be anywhere else. Yeah, it's not going to be in Water Temple. We're not going to get a vanilla long shot today. So this is EL locked.
Actually, the seed is not as like logically I have seen way worse than this.
Oh yeah.
It's actually quite interesting to see this unfold.
I mean, it's not an ADC, it's not a 50 skull seed, so we've automatically had worse.
Yeah, we've seen a lot. Like I feel like we've seen a lot AD plus 50 skull seeds recently. Which if I was still in the tournament, I would like if I'm a player that's like my execution's not as good, right? So if I was against a player like PhoenixFeather who has a clear execution advantage because he's been around for so long, I would need to hope that it's not a 50 skulls ADC because that's a lot. Like if the longer the seed goes on, the longer we have to execute, and the more the execution advantage of like the other players just going to make a difference, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the longer the seed is, you just always tend to favour higher execution players.
And that's
right,
I'm
gonna close the bet here as soon as Kevin gets to the first chest in Shadow Temple. Since we're reasonably sure that something's gonna turn up in here. They're not necessarily the first chest, I guess. Maybe the first chest. Maybe Shadow feels like being kind to us.
Do you really want to do hookshotless Shadow in this situation, though?
I mean, you have to really. I think you have to just keep clearing this till you're done.
If you can do it, you have to. So actually, he could get the long shot out of logic. Wait, is that trick allowed? Is hookshotless Shadow allowed?
Going past the invisible spikes room is not possible. I don't think under this rule set. And it wouldn't really be worth it anyway because there's no way the long shot could be there.
Why though? Like it actually can be there. We know.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm being stupid. Yeah, of course it can be there.
But it seems to be allowed. So.
Or is there a glitchless jump for it? Okay, I didn't know that.
I mean, it's pretty precise. You can like hover onto the chest at a specific angle, and then, like, if you have stored a ground jump beforehand, you can ground jump off the chest and grab the ledge.
Okay.
Which is like, I know that in the standard rule set, a ground jump from if you are hovering mid-air with hover boots, a ground jump from there is not allowed. But since you're standing on the chest and not floating in the air, the ground jump is actually allowed, I think. It's still pretty dang precise, like I can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah, you'd have to set up the ground jump while you're standing on the chest, right?
Yes. No, you store the ground jump beforehand and then use the spikes to hover onto the chest.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then you can ground jump from the chest. And at this point, if there's nothing in Shadow before Kevin would need to use that trick, if he can pull it off, I don't know if he can, then it's actually worth continuing and getting the second hookshot, because that hookshot would also speed up getting the first one, because he wouldn't need to plant a bean in Lake.
I suppose so, yeah. Yeah, because Kevin didn't plant that bean yet. So if he wants a hookshot and he doesn't find the other one, then he's going to have to go back in time and do that. I'm just saying he did plant the bean. Okay. My bad.
That's a red t-shirt. Well.
Completely useless because we already have wallet and we've had it for ages, but yeah.
Yep.
At least we get fashion percent.
The hookshot was actually in logic and available for a long time now. So getting the gold.
Yeah, that hookshot was open like really well, not really early, but pretty damn early.
Yeah, but Adult Lake, I mean, we have Serenade, so it's not too bad, but it's still like the checks are pretty far apart and it's not that many, so it's a location you push back for like most of the seed until it's convenient to do them, or until you're like out of other checks to do. But having a bean-locked hookshot is always going to suck. I can't change my mind on that.
Yeah, it's not a good situation to be in, especially that Lake Bean is a bit of a bastard to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, we have Serenade, so planting the bean is not too bad. And then getting back to it. Like, if this seed without Serenade would really be something else entirely.
Mm.
Actually, like, if you're done with GTG or like the surrounding area, you could still go to Lake from there, like, if it makes sense.
Yeah,
So
you could do that.
Being in Gerudo Valley and you're actually close to Lake and you don't have a quick way to access Lake, you're thinking twice if you actually leave that area behind, if you're already pretty close to it. So not having Sarah might have actually pushed a player to go there.
I mean, you want to get it done at some point, ideally.
Yeah.
So it may not be like the most dense area, but there's still, you know, decent couple of checks there.
Yeah, you probably want to set up Scarecrow anyway, right?
Yeah, probably. So you're going to find Hookshot eventually, and you might well need that Scarecrow, so worth having a setup even if you can't actually use it yet. Ah, there it is.
And there it is. Okay, so actually,
okay,
let's go mode. Let's go mode. And he's bailing! Kevin is actually bailing.
Ooh, that is slightly ballsy for Kevin to bail after that. But that makes sense, really, to be fair. Like, yeah, he's going for Forest Temple now.
Yeah.
Gonna do his Medallion dungeons, get those out of the way.
Basically, no hookshot locks the other hookshot, right?
Yeah, neither of those were hookshot locked.
That's actually quite dangerous, right? Like, because you can't conclude the location of the other hookshot with this. Like, it could, from Kevin's perspective, once he's done with Forest and he sees there's nothing in here.
Yeah, he's not going to have any information to go off as to where the other hookshot is.
Yeah, so he might actually go back to Shadow and full clear Shadow.
He might do, yeah, potentially.
Yeah, that's like going back to Shadow at this point. Like, I don't see Kevin go Lake in favor of Way of the Hero Shadow. So this actually gives like the longer Kevin pushes back the hookshot on adult fishing, and like if PhoenixFeather does chickens reasonably soon, this might still be a race. Like, this might still be pretty close.
Yeah, both of these runners have lost location items they're potentially going to get baited by. I feel like PhoenixFeather's one the letter is probably worse, but they could both go like, yeah, quite a long way before they find them. So sad to say, chat, none of you guessed that one chest, the invisible cipher room. I can't see anyone who's won the bet, so.
Who was closest then?
Well, no one really. I mean, we did have one person say middle of Shadow, but I'm not entirely sure I can count that as middle, to be honest.
I mean, it's probably the closest thing we have.
That is probably the closest one, but I don't think it's close enough to be given the victory. So, unfortunately, chat, I win this time. GG's.
Yeah, I'm not going to be the judge of that.
We did get a guess from Medallion, which was that one shadow chest brackets. You know the one end brackets. But yeah, I don't think that's likely to be referring to the cipher and chest.
Oh,
does it?
Not so. I'm with. You asked where the long shot was, but neither of them was the long shot.
Well, that's a good point, yeah. I suppose in that case it's technically an invalid bet, so that still means everyone loses. But there you go. Incidentally, Medallion, which chest did you mean? Middle of
this is its
Shadow
marquee-
was VXR, but in that bet.
This is its marquee. PhoenixFeather is going to continue in spirit. There's no doubt.
Yeah,
So
you wouldn't
really
come here
doesn't
just for
want to-
one check, would you?
It's not
Well,
a key, okay.
unless you locked out, which Phoenix is.
So it's not spirit. Yeah, bait out hard.
Yeah, Phoenix is now can't do anything more in spirit until he gets Requiem, and that is a lot behind Lesser, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's it's going to be on one of the ZL locked songs. Or whatever, sorry, it's going to be Ice Cavern or it's going to be Burning Cack, so yeah.
Yeah, Burning Cack would be irrelevant at this point. Because water is going to be the last medallion for both of these runners. So everything after that is nothing, basically.
Yeah. It's not entirely. I suppose it's not entirely entirely stupid to leave FW there, because it could, like, as far as PhoenixFeather knows, it could be Prelude's got Requiem, in which case Longshot could still potentially be in Spirits. We know that's not going to be the case, but yeah, Phoenix can't rule that out at this point. That's why it's probably left FW there.
I mean, leaving Furor's Wind anywhere doesn't really cost you too much. Like, a handful of seconds and a little bit of magic, but it's still better than to leave Furor's Wind somewhere, and like, even if you have to just dispel it and replace it later on.
Yeah, there's not really many places.
You just have the option of using it and returning to the place you were before.
Yeah, there's not really many other places that Phoenix could really use FW in at this point. Like the only other place he maybe could think about using it would be is in Shadow, but of course he can't get in there at the moment.
What is PhoenixFeather doing, by the way? Is he grabbing an extra skull here? Is that what he's doing?
Seems so, yeah.
He doesn't have strength 3.
Yeah, I don't think it's got anything more to do in Gannon's Castle at this point. So there's no reason to go back in there.
Oh, yeah.
Or is there? Or is there? Has he got something to do in here? I'm struggling to remember what he's done in here, actually, to be honest.
I mean, with Hookshot he can do Shadow Trial 1.
Oh yeah, that's true. He's saying FW here as well.
Yeah.
Right, so Shadow Trial 1 at the very least, maybe Spirit Trial, but I think you already did that. Yeah, it looks like he's just going for Shadow Trial. I guess he might pick up some more. Might pick up some more Blue Fire as well, because he dumped out the bottle he had before.
Doesn't he still have the Blue Fire?
I think he got rid of it.
He still needs the letter.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the Shadow Trial 2 play, Shadow Trial 1 play. But we know it's gotta be nothing. Yeah, now that we know that Shadow Temple is not bait because it has the first or second hookshot, he 100% needs that strength 3 from Deathmount Trail.
Yeah. Kevin doesn't look like he's going to use FW here. Hasn't got it equipped, so he might just do the block puzzle twice, I guess. Did he do floor? He might have done Floor Master already, actually, because he had hovers.
Yep.
Yeah, he's done it already, so yeah, it doesn't need to go down.
I really like doing the Floor Master and then going into the courtyard.
Yeah, it saves a bit of time.
Just a little bit. But like in a long and linear dungeon as far as Temple is, you need to cut corners where you can.
Yeah.
Right.
Any time save to deal with this news fest is a helpful one.
Yeah, PhoenixFeather going Child, but what is he going to do next?
Yeah, maybe he's going to finish off bottom of the well. And if he's there, maybe, just maybe, he'll think about doing chickens.
Like, bottom of, like, wouldn't he have played Nocturne already?
Yeah, well, he's probably going for Din's Fairy first.
So, Mark, we have seen 2 hook shots. The first one was in Lake Hylia, adult fishing, which PhoenixFeather picked up. The other one is in Shadow Temple, which Kevin picked up, but it's not hookshot locked. It's pretty early in Shadow. So the Dins in Light Trial, and thus the Strength 3 on Death Mountain Trail, which PhoenixFeather skipped, is actually hard required to beat this. Also, PhoenixFeather still doesn't have the letter. It doesn't look too good for him right now. But Kevin is also missing something important.
Yeah, Kevin's missing that other hookshot and adult fishing.
Yep.
And yeah, so don't know when he's going to do Lake Hylia. I can't see Kevin putting off Lake for too much longer. Like, having a hookshot means you don't have to worry about the bean thing anyway now.
There is an issue though. Like, at this time, Water Temple being foolish is actually pretty detrimental, right? Because like, if Water Temple was not foolish, you would actually be inclined to go there.
Yeah, and dip the dungeon, like, try and find...
try to find an item while searching for boss key.
Yeah.
But since Water Temple is foolish, there's nothing drawing you to Lake. Like, nothing. I mean, you could go there and search for the boss key, do your progression, and once you find it, you just clear the surrounding area, but
yeah,
you don't really have a good incentive.
Yeah, there's just not any point to going into Water Temple without the long shot. It's slower, and you're not going to get anything out of it, so yeah.
So actually that specific hint working a little bit against us. Or against Kevin, rather.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Still no lens, though. I wonder where the lens is at this point. Maybe just deeper in Shadow. Like,
Could
after
be.
Forest, I think Kevin will go back to Shadow. Unless he deliberately, like, if he decides to not do it.
Shadow would probably be the most, like, sensible play for him, I guess. So it's still got a fair few items in there.
Okay, PhoenixFeather's doing it.
Oh, let's go. Let's fucking go.
Play. So Kevin is PhoenixFeather's actually catching up.
Yeah, still has to do Jabu though, so
yeah,
he's still a fair few minutes behind here, I guess, like, in terms of progression.
Until PhoenixFeather's done with Jabu, that's around the time that Kevin has to find the other hookshot, right? So this is a race.
Yeah, I mean, assuming Phoenix finds strength and does all of that, I guess. So
yes, it still depends on the strength. Yeah, this doing chickens now just solves one of PhoenixFeather's problems.
Yeah, once he gets that, once he gets the letter, he's going to go straight for Jabu. So he's definitely not going to be doing DMT here as Giles. So we're not going to see that strength at this point. I don't know what, like, at this point, what point he goes back to Death Mountain. It's almost certainly going to be after Jabu, but maybe if he decides to fire again?
Yeah, like, the DMT wall is sometimes really, really hard to route in. Like, if you don't do it on your first trip to, like, Death Mountain Trail and the Dunker's Cavern, like, if you don't do it the first time, like, at a later point in the game, you have enough warp songs to get around quickly, so going by that specific check is actually pretty unlikely. Like, you don't have any business. If you want to go into Crater, you play Bolero. If you want to go into the woods, play Minuet. If you want to go to Kakariko, you play Nocturne. So there's no reason to go to Death Mountain Trail once you're done with DC.
Yeah, there's not even the Storm Squatter maybe to tempt him over there, since he's already done that one.
True. Like, if you want to go to Goron City, you just play Bolero, it's faster.
Yeah.
So what are you doing, PhoenixFeather?
Probably stressing out a bit after finding that as a 0 and
This looks like a straight... Yeah, this is a straight river play.
Yeah.
100%. Wait, we have... Because... Oh, interesting. That's a save warp? Okay.
Okay. That's going to take him back to
medium
DMT, so maybe he's thought about that Grosso. Maybe.
Oh, you're right. But like this might actually just be like he goes into Goron City and then just straight for River.
Yeah, he might think
Oh,
this
he's
is
doing it. I think he's doing it. He's doing it.
Yeah, he's big braining this.
This is huge. This is huge for PhoenixFeather.
Yeah, this is going to help him massively.
This is close. All of a sudden this turned into a very close race again. Well, he still needs to go to Ganon's castle and then get the hookshot from Shadow. So
yeah, I mean that's not too bad for Phoenix though. Like he's not got to do too much of Shadow. He's not going to have to do too much of Ganon's
once
castle.
he finds the hookshot in Shadow, he's in go mode.
Yeah.
Then he knows he doesn't have to do the rest of Shadow. So if Kevin goes back to Shadow, this is so close all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's gonna be tricky. Because if Phoenix follows his license properly, then he's just gonna go straight for it. He doesn't need to worry about anything else. If he's really smart, he might work out that he can actually skip all the checks in Jabu because his way the hero and Shadow is still unresolved. And so, well, there should only be one item that can be, but of course there is still lens bait potential on the table for him. He's not found that yet.
I highly doubt we're going to see the lens. Like, if Kevin doesn't find it, PhoenixFeather will not.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see it either. God knows where it is. Probably deeper in Fire Temple or something.
Yeah, that's actually pretty reasonable.
Deku Tree had the hover boots, so yeah, that was pretty important. Mirror Shields as well, but that's not needed for anything.
Mirror Shield doesn't seem to be a thing. This is just a prime example for the nature of Rando. Like, in 1 second you can be like super far behind, and in the next you can just be on equal footing again.
Yeah, it's just a case of making sure you don't orphan checks too badly. So yeah, if Phoenix had just like completely forgotten that check, he would have been absolutely screwed. But yeah, being able to route it in, like obviously he's left it way later than he should have done.
Actually, that's safe warp, right? The safe warp, kind of. Like, if it wasn't for the safe warp, he would have played Minuet, probably.
Probably, yeah.
And then he would have skipped the check. So that safe warp actually saving his butt here. Pretty crucial.
I'm not sure if he planned it or not. I feel like it was a bit more impulsy because he didn't equip bombs until after he warped there. So it kind of felt like he only remembered it when he got in, rather than actually planning to do it as part of his route before he set off. I don't know. He was a bit of a diver at that point. So after he got Bruto's letter, he started walking out of CAC, and then he changed his mind. Then he save warped. So yeah, he wasn't entirely thinking straight at that point. I don't think he was just kind of like, oh crap, what do I do? I need to change my.
This one check that you missed pops into your head, and you're just saved all of a sudden.
Kevin is going back to Forest, so he's going to be using his FW, which was set in GTG.
Pretty sure it's GTG. I don't think he replaced it.
Yeah, GTG. Okay, so that means he's doing this now, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, from his perspective, the hookshot in Shadow was not hookshot locked.
Yeah. So
actually, the other hookshot can logically be locked in here.
It absolutely can be in here. So
this is a time loss. This is a net time loss.
This is a bit of a new for Kevin, but after he's done here, he may go Gerudo Valley and just dive down into Lake, potentially. He might take that route.
Oh, true. Yeah, so let's just hope for the best here.
Yeah.
So this might actually be really, really close.
Yeah, Spirit is a possibility as well, but I don't know whether we want to risk that, to be honest. Like, it's a long walk, and there's potentially
walk up there. You essentially walk all the way up there for just one check, maybe.
Well, like, two checks for Kevin, but
yeah, for Kevin it's 2 checks, but like all that way for 2 checks.
Well, I suppose actually it's free because he didn't do the fairy fountain.
True. And even Haunted Wasteland, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Oh, that door giving him a bit of a slap there.
Door slap.
And yeah, light arrows. Yeah, they're on the rooftop here. So if he's being diligent, he should remember to clear those out as well.
No, Kevin did not do a dot fishing.
Yeah, that's his go mode check. It's the last one he needs. Well, glow mode, I suppose, until he gets those light arrows.
Yep.
PhoenixFeather doesn't have his dens yet, but
he's going to pick it up.
He's almost certainly going to do Gan's Castle after this, because he knows his way of the hero.
So PhoenixFeather currently in the process of catching up.
The process of jabbering.
Yeah. Kevin really needs to go to Lake.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of hoping he might do it after this, but you see he's got a few options, and Lake is probably not one of the highest ones at the moment, so yeah, it's hard to say whether he's going to do it or not, or what's going through his head at the moment. Could be anything, and yeah, if he puts off Lake for too long, that's just going to give Phoenix a chance to catch up here.
This could still be an AD seed, depending on where the Water Temple boss key is. It's still a 10% chance that this is a hard AD seed.
That would be a pretty mean way to finish this off, but it's definitely possible.
And like, if Kevin returns to Shadow and clears Shadow, searching for the long shot, if it ends up being AD, this bails him out because he already did Shadow.
Yeah, I don't know, because at that point it's just going to come down to execution, right? Because they're both going to kind of hit that point of finding out it's all dungeons. But yeah, we'll have to see. I'm going to go grab some water real quick so I've run out, so I'll be back in a minute.
Alright. Yes, it can still be AD actually, because of that boss key in water. Like, that can still be on River Chest. But, as I said, 10% chance. There's 10 checks outside of Morpher where the boss key can be in, and it's going to be placed by the randomizer at, like, the very first thing in the dungeon is the boss key that's being placed. So, yeah, 100% chance of nonsense. I like that. I mean, we know that Season 4 is basically the casino. Every seed is just entering the casino. Yeah, I don't think that this seed was necessarily too much nonsense. It was logically pretty interesting. Actually, I'm going to revoke that because chickens. Do I need to say more? That check just sucks. The lens is probably somewhere in Fire Temple. PhoenixFeather using a rather elegant shoe strat to open up the boss in Jabu. Really cool. Kevin checking the right side of the maze. Nothing in GTG for Kevin, so where does Kevin go next? Upon exiting GTG, will he take a left or right turn? If he takes the right turn to cross the wasteland and go to Spirit Temple, he's going to lose some more time. If he goes left though, and into... He probably wants to check the rooftop. Yeah, this is a rooftop play. But after that, does he go left or right? If he goes to Lake, that's huge for him.
If he goes to Lake at this point, he wins, right?
Actually, yes.
So this is like D play for him. If he gets this right...
Yeah, Kevin is about to pick up his light arrows.
Yeah, Kevin's got about 5-10 minute lead over Phoenix. I'd say that's about right. Probably maybe adding more towards 10 than 5, because...
PhoenixFeather slowly chipping away that
yeah.
lead. Okay, that looks like a right turn.
Oof, yeah, that's the wrong way.
But, I mean, that doesn't take 10 minutes.
To get to the Spirit Temple? Yeah, probably not. It's a case of what he does after that, though, isn't it?
It's the Lake of Sand. It's not like Hylia, it's the Lake of Sand.
I thought that was Skyward Sword of the Sand Sea in it.
Yeah, it's still 10% AD. Like, that's... Like, even with all of that stuff we already figured out, it's like... It could still be a chance that we're going to sit here for another half an hour.
Yeah, so we know he's going to get key locked here because Phoenix already did this. So there's no keys on the adult side. Yeah, so you know where both the hookshots are. So Kevin's missing one from adult fishing. Phoenix, on the other hand, did not get the one in Shadow Temple yet. But for Phoenix, his next play is going to be Ganon's Castle, most likely, which is going to get in Din's Fire. So from there, he goes into Shadows. This is hinted by the hero.
Oh, wait,
Ooh, he's turning around. Yeah. He's okay, going back for Shadow. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's even more time down the drain.
Yeah, that's worse than doing Spirits.
Like, from his perspective, this is a good play. Because we have the hero, because it's not cleared yet, because he has the hookshot.
But yeah, if he full clears this, then the only way he's going to keep getting bailed out after this is if it's AD. Like,
as far as hookshot lock checks go, this is probably the best bet he has. Like, maybe he's assuming that the hookshot wave the hero is to unlock the other hookshot, which would be hookshot locked in Shadow. It's a reasonable assumption, but we know better. That's unfortunate. And
you only need hookshot to get to go through Shadow Temple. The only thing that you potentially need long shot for in this dungeon is to get to Bongo Bongo if you don't have a bow.
Yep.
But well, bow was the first thing we found in the entire game, so that's not a concern today. I can't see Phoenix doing anything other than go to Ganon's Castle at this point, but maybe he'll surprise me. Oh, he's not warping anywhere, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, going for a walk here. Casually strolling to the castle, but backwards, probably.
I mean, he's done big pose, so yeah, this is the only thing left he's got around this area.
That's the light trial play.
Is FW? Yeah, I think it's in Ganon's.
So I'm trying to see how Kevin can still get bait out of this. Maybe if he finds the lens in here, he realizes something and gets pushed away from Shadow.
Yeah, maybe. So apart from that, the only other thing is it being AD would obviously help him out. If it is AD, then this is required progression. If it's not, then he's wasting his time in here.
Yep.
PhoenixFeather picking up Din's fire.
Yep,
and he's off straight off to Shadow.
He knows he has one more item left to find. He knows that Shadow Temple is way of the hero. He's going there immediately. There's no way he's not doing that. He knows exactly what he's doing. Yeah, there's no point in clearing Light Trial at that point. Like, you know.
I mean, yeah, there's always a possibility that Shadow's way the hero bait for that lens, but it's so, yeah, it's obviously very unlikely, so.
You could, yeah, but you can go back to Light Trial anytime. It's not that.
Yeah. Yeah, Phoenix still has FW set there, so he has no problem getting back there if he needs to.
I would actually imagine that PhoenixFeather finding the letter so late, he might actually feel behind.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
He had to save a few seconds where he can to make up for it. Like, every second counts.
And if this is still AD, every second does count, because he's, I mean, in terms of shadow progression, he's behind on Kevin at the moment, so.
Yep.
There's that. I mean, he's got slightly more lead on Spirit Temple, but that's not going to count for much.
Unfortunately, no. And we're seeing Double Shadow. Who would have thought?
Good old Double Shadow.
Time for the second nap.
Yeah, it's going to be a long Double Shadow, I think. Although Kevin's reasonably far through. He's going to full clear this, I guess.
Yeah, Kevin is pretty quick.
Yeah, it can only be AD if we need it for Water Temple boss key, which is a 1 in 10 chance, so it's not very likely at all. Oh, hello, another bot mag. But it could still happen. There is a still slight possibility that Stone Shadow Temple is fully required to beat.
And like, this is, from Kevin's perspective, this is not a bad play, right? It's completely reasonable, and this is like...
Yeah, it's reasonable. I don't know, because it's quite deep in the seed at this point.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the Shadow Temple was locked behind like 10 trillion spheres, approximately. You know, not doing the maths on that, but yeah, it was pretty deep down. So compared to other checks like the overworld checks that he skipped, this is not necessarily the best idea. Plus, it's not very check dense, really, because of all the keys.
Yeah, it's like super slow.
Yeah. So I'm not sure it's really his best play, to be honest, but it is Way of the Hero, which is probably why he's chosen it over those, you know, slightly more open areas. He's hoping that there'll be something else in here.
People always say you should full clear your Way of the Heroes, but sometimes, like in situations like these, it just doesn't hold up.
Yeah, it's always tricky to make the call on that, because, yeah, there can always be another item in a Way of the Hero location. And if you bail on it unknowingly, then you're going to feel a bit stupid about yourself, because, hey, that was a hint.
Like,
you know, why didn't you do what the hint told you to do? You would have been fine.
It's risky, sure, but like that's the kind of gamble you sometimes have to make. Like, all of this just, like, it's basically decided by PhoenixFeather picking up his go mode hookshot here, while Kevin picked up his first one here. That's so huge for Phoenix.
Yeah. Yeah, at this point for Phoenix, it is basically strictly go mode. Because even if it does turn out to be all dungeons, he's got everything he needs to clear Spirit Temple now, and Shadow Temple if he needs to. So he's not going to be slowed down. Well, he is going to be slowed down, obviously, because they take ages, but he's not going to be having to faff about trying to find more items. It's just going to be a case of just doing progression after that. There's long shots.
Yeah, that's actually go mode for PhoenixFeather here.
Yeah, it's definitely go mode. The question is how long of a go mode it's going to be.
Yep.
Which we'll find out very shortly, I guess.
I mean, Way of the Hero, Ganon's Castle had the Kikiri Sword, which directly unlocked Mirror Shield.
Yeah, so, but it also unlocked hovers, so...
It also unlocked hovers.
Yeah.
But it's also Din's Fire, Way of the Hero, Ganon's Castle, which unlocked a hookshot. Which also gives access to Shadow as a dungeon for the stone it has. So there's a lot of arguments that can still be made for...
I think the thing is, like, at this point, the Way of the Heroes tells us nothing about what the key layout might be in here.
Yeah, it's just like there's so many arguments for either side that it's just like you can't certainly you can't say for certain what it actually is.
Yeah, I think I agree with Dotso. Just spelling FW here is not really worth it because Phoenix had his FW in Ganon's Castle before this, and he's not got Prelude, so he's not got any easy way of getting back there, which is going to cost him some travel time. I think it's going to cost him more time than it will save here in Water Temple by sending it there.
At this point, for Rosewind and Ganon's Castle was more valuable than for Rosewind here.
Yeah.
Okay. So Water Temple. This is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be boss key here on the first chest. It's entirely possible. 1 in 10 chance for everything, basically, from this point onwards, right?
Very true. First check.
Small key.
Nope, that's one of the 6 small keys in this dungeon.
Yeah, true. It's not a flat 1 in 10. It will change as you go up as well, because obviously you're really out checks as you go, so it's going to go 1 in 9, 1 in 8, 1 in 7, so on and so forth.
I thought it was a flat 10% chance because the boss key gets placed first. Oh, and that's the lens on Bongo.
Oh, that fucking lens on Bongo. Wow.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Amazing.
That's beautiful.
Wait, so how the hell were you meant to do that? Because you need ZL to beat Bongo. So, how are you meant to cross the wastelands to get ZL? No, wait, hold on. No, yeah, because you had to cross the wasteland, right? There's no other way. Yeah, no, wait, yes, no, there is another way. Requiem must be an ice cavern. Yeah, it has to be.
Ice cavern is also ZL locked.
Is also ZL locked. Okay. Right. So no, Requiem has to be burning cack. It has to be burning cack.
Oh, so okay, so
which means water can't be ZL locked.
Wait, that also means that it cannot be Song of Time locked, right?
Yeah, can't be Song of Time locked. Okay, I mean, the boss key is on Compass Chest. It has to be.
Yeah, it has to be.
100%.
Kevin is in the lake. Kevin is in the lake.
Ooh,
Kevin is going
nice.
for it. Kevin is going for it.
It might be. I think it might be too late for him now, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, Kevin knows. Kevin knows what we know because of where the lens is placed.
Yeah, if you can figure it out, then yeah, you'll know.
If he figures this one out and gets the long shot from fishing immediately, I mean.
Yeah, maybe.
Phoenix going for Compass Chest immediately.
Yeah, I would imagine Phoenix is going to do Compass next, or he's going to do it in the next 1 or 2 checks.
You do Compass next after this. You drop down and do it. And Kevin, unfortunately, losing the coin flip here. Yeah, that's a Compass Just play. Okay,
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah,
it. But it's super close.
Yeah, I mean, this is still going to be like a couple of minutes, which is pretty damn close for Rando. Yeah, well, Kevin will probably do lab dive now, I guess.
Yeah.
It's going to cost him a little bit, but yeah, then adult fishing, and yeah, if he's been following the logic, then he'll know that boss key has to be on either map or compass chest.
Oh, Kevin actually planted the bean.
Yeah, he did.
I could recall that. This is logically the ZL seed, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, ZL has done nothing for us in this seed at all. Well, actually, no, it's not.
Actually, that means
yeah,
that
it is. Yeah,
was not required at all.
Yeah, because you weren't expected to get the lens before you got Requiem. What a mad seed this has been! Absolutely bonkers.
That's the long boy for Kevin, but
Yeah,
I think it's
just good.
It's super close.
Yeah, Kevin. If Kevin had got that earlier, he would have been like way ahead of PhoenixFeather, that's for sure. Because he did a whole like half of Shadow Temple, which is completely unnecessary. He would never have had to touch any of that if he got that earlier. So he would have been like a 10 minutes ahead of PhoenixFeather at this point. Yeah, this race has gone back and forth like several times now. It's kind of mad.
I mean, even if Kevin goes Compass, I could see Kevin go Compass Chest immediately. Yeah, this looks like Compass Chest. He's still like a solid minute, maybe 2 behind.
Yeah, probably 2-3 minutes, I reckon, at this point.
Yeah, with getting the boss key, going in the door, defeating the boss, and watching 2 cutscenes.
Yeah, and there's Requiem, right where we thought it'd be.
That's proof.
So yeah, no ZL required at all for this seed.
Actually, like we were talking about Farore's Wind and it being set in Ganon's castle earlier, but you would still need to retrieve the boss key. So you would still need to go down from Ganon's castle to go back to Temple of Time to get the boss key. Would that still be faster if you run back and forth between castle and Temple of Time? I don't think so.
I kind of feel like it would, because like you can set FW again after you use it.
True.
So PhoenixFeather could use it, go to Ganon's castle, set it again, go get the boss key, then just play well, you wouldn't have Requiem if you did that route, but you could play Bolero, go into Fire Temple, use FW again to get back in, and then go up. I think that would probably be faster. And it means it gets to get Burning Cat cutscene as well, which, to get 20 seconds or whatever they're saved, I guess.
Kevin also nailing the Morpher fight here. Logic donut. Being like as watching this and talking to people, like that is much easier than figuring that out while you're playing the seed, especially in a tournament setting.
Yeah, trying to figure this out while you're playing the game is just it really stresses your mind sometimes, because you just can't you got to be able to divide your brain between like actually, obviously doing the execution, actually playing the game, and at the same time kind of trying to work out this high level logic of like what goes where. There's a lot that goes into it. Like even when we're on commentary here, we don't have to worry about doing any inputs to the game. It's still complicated trying to work it out.
Yeah, we just vibe in and just like leaning back and looking at this from the top, but like we can't get tilted and stuff. Like there's so many factors that influence a racer, especially if it's like if this determines if you go home.
Ooh. My cat's come to say hello, which means he's also going to brush his head against the microphone because it looks weird. He's like, oh, there's a weird thing on your desk, get rid of it.
And this is so close between the two.
Yeah, like literally only a couple of minutes, if that, I think, between the two of them. The weekly starts in an hour, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're probably done in like 5 minutes here.
Yeah. We are going to get both runners into an interview, but unless they've really got a lot on their mind, I don't think the interview is going to take an hour.
Oh, PhoenixFeather actually getting bodied by Ganondorf. That doesn't feel nice. That...
Right, got this done now, so 10 hits and he's done. Can he get one cycle here?
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Nice.
Very clean. Very clean.
Yeah, a bit messy at the start there, but got there pretty nicely in the end. Who needs empty bottles, eh? I actually do think I'm starting to prefer the quick spin strats, to be honest.
It's really funny that he did the quick spin and then Ganondorf actually deflected the first one.
Yeah.
So he had the quick spin again.
Can happen sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is so close. Just a couple of minutes. This is like something between 1 minute, 1:30-ish, I would say. Maybe 2 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin's not quite there yet.
1:30 and 2 minutes, because he still needs to defeat the Iron Knuckles. Very nice knuckle fight.
Yeah, I have had Ganondorf reflect shots with the bottle as well. Normally when I messed up the one cycle, like if you do it at the start, very rarely, if ever, will reflecting bottle hit. But yeah, if you miss a one cycle and then have to go do the tennis again, I've had it. I've had him dodge the bottle shots after that.
And sometimes just Ganondorf just hates you, and then like you miss the one cycle, or like you miss hitting him at all, and then he's like, okay, I'm just going to smack the ground a couple of times. Like I have time, you know.
Probably angry about my comment about his Long Ranch jurisdiction earlier. Not any trouble with Phoenix though. Ganon is down. Final hit coming in just a moment.
Get your GGs ready, guys. And that's it.
GG's.
PhoenixFeather finishing with a time of 2:57.57.
Bring them in, shall we? See what they think. Oh, thanks for the gift subs, Fuman. Much appreciated. GG's,
Phoenix.
everyone.
Hey, what's up, guys? GG.
GG's.
That was honestly, it was not even like a consideration of mine that lens wasn't required to cross the wasteland. So, like,
Yeah, that was
I
a
was
mad bit of logic right at the end there, wasn't it? It's just like, oh,
yeah,
ZL wasn't required for anything. Okay.
yeah.
If you
I
didn't
don't
pick
think I've ever played a stage where ZL was completely useless. ZL is not listed in the WAP locations in this seed, which is probably the first time I've ever seen.
Yeah. So definitely a bit of an odd one, especially with these settings as well. It's like, you had to go into Shadow Temple, but you didn't need ZL for that. You had water required, but you didn't need ZL for that either. And it just, nothing turned out for it. So yeah, I think we're all pretty much convinced like Lens was gonna show up at some point to put that wasteland crossing into logic. It had to. So yeah, I was mega confused when I saw that Lens.
Lens could be in any check in the game. It doesn't even matter. It just can be any check except the chess mini game here, because obviously our logical crossing the wasteland was Requiem. Because it honestly, like, maybe I should have tried to stay in logic, but like it really was like, why not go back to Wath Shadow? Why not go to GTG so I can free it? Well, GTG is fine. It's in logic.
Yeah, GTG was a sensible play, I guess. I did have my doubts about Shadow Temple, just because of like how late in the game it was compared to like some of the Overworld stuff. Because like you got Dins really late. It was locked behind 3 strings. That was locked behind God knows whatever else. So yeah, it was probably like Sphere 15 or whatever by the time you actually got access to Shadow Temple. So even though it was way the hero, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I should have really like done my in logic checks first. It honestly like hadn't even crossed my mind that ZL could be anywhere other than, or that Requiem could be anywhere other than Ice Cavern. So, yeah. I guess, I should stay in logic there. Like, after I picked up the lens on Bongo, I had to, like, you saw me go into Sun's Grave. I was like, it's always like, you never want to do nothing at any point. Even though that's obviously like a dead check. I figured that out like instantly. That means, ZL's on Burning Cack, or Requiem's on Burning Cack, and I don't ever need ZL. So the only checks that I had left in like actual logic were Spirit Trial and Adult Lake. So
oh yeah, because you couldn't do Spirit Trial when you first went in there. Of course, you didn't have a hook shot. Although I think we saw PhoenixFeather do it without hook shots, which was interesting.
Oh gosh, I haven't even learned that. It looks horrid.
Yeah.
I was hoping to get paid off big there with the Ganon's Cast Away the Hero, but just a wallet.
Yeah. It was pretty damn swag though, so we appreciated seeing that, even if it didn't lead to anything good.
That room is terrible without hookshot, even with glitches. Like, that room just sucks without a hookshot. But yeah, I know. I probably should go water before shadow, but I honestly I don't know. Staying in logic definitely makes sense, but it really just at that point it's like lens could just be anywhere.
Yeah,
like lens.
The lake was a bit of an Achilles heel for you. We were worried as well for the longest time for Phoenix because like he left out both the lesser on chickens and that strength in DMT as well. So yeah, it was can't stop that. So hold on a moment. I've got a cat trying to attack me. Wait, stop doing that.
No, honestly, when I have just I had 4 total checks in logic, obviously, what I'm assuming is that a lens is in one of those. It makes more sense to just go get those 4 checks. It really does. I don't know. It just like had not even crossed my mind for the slightest bit, because that would mean that ZL is completely unrequired. Which I've just like, I don't know.
I mean, if it wasn't for you picking up that lens, we would have never known.
Yeah.
Like, we were still like, you could have still made a comeback at the end if it was AD for boss key in water, but that was under these circumstances that was not possible anymore.
Yeah, so as soon as we saw that lens, it all just fell into place at that point. I was like, oh, okay, it's impossible now for it to be AD because of the way ZL's getting locked. Can't even get it straight in my head now. But yeah, ZL was locked behind Water Temple, which means you had to be able to get to the boss queue without needing some time. So yeah, you'd never need to do AD. Yeah, until we saw that lens, like the lens could have been like we were kind of banking on lens being like Fire Temple or something. Seemed like the most likely option.
Yeah, technically I do also have Fire and Logic. That's true. I do have Deep Fire and Logic.
There's always Deep Fire, isn't there? So it's always there.
Yeah. Deep Fire. Maybe it's not right to just like, if it's just the 4 checks where there's 2 at Adult Lake that are like, they're kind of slow, but who cares? And then there's one in Ganon's where I need to set Feyor's anyways. It's like, I should maybe get those. But with Deep Fire also in the equation, I think going back to Shadow is fine. I just think I need to find that that hook shot on fishing sooner. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like you saw me plant the bean. Like I don't know how to feel about like my going to Shadow. I don't know whether or not that's a good play or bad play, because there's also all those checks that aren't locked by ZL. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, Shadow, you don't need ZL till like right near the end. So, but I don't know. It's not a very dense location as well as the other thing. Like you have to go through quite a lot of dungeon for not a lot of checks. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's always a bit of a toss up, really. I guess these sort of things. Like, do you go for a dungeon? It's hinted way at a hero, but you already found an item in it, or you just go for random overworld crap.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can't really make it like, an informed decision about that. You just have to hope.
Yeah, I think gosh, I don't know. I really don't know what I prefer. I don't know like if going back and like realizing that if boss key is in map chest or compass chest in water, then ZL could just not be required for anything. I know if thinking about that, I skip the front half of Shadow, and I don't know if I would, even if thinking about that, bail on the ZL locked stuff in Shadow. I don't know if I can. So I don't know. Maybe just staying in Logic with Lake is just like an easy thing to do, where I can go to Lake before even going back to Shadow to like cut down on things that are still in Logic. But I don't really know.
Yeah, it's
it was such a confusing seed. It was a lot of fun. Actually, me and Phoenix played a seed last night. That had we both got to the 3-hour 45-minute mark, and it was one of the worst seeds, like in terms of hiking. There was the only warp songs were Duet, Requiem, and Bolero. And we got like Nocturne really late, and the spawns were like both DMT. It was horrible.
That sounds rough.
Yeah. The funny thing though is yesterday both me and Phoenix last locationed Rudo's letters on chickens.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, did I install the right seed when I got it today?
Yeah, I was in disbelief. Yeah.
Yeah, that was just like, Rudo's on chickens again? Really?
Lightning strikes twice, it seems.
Both were like completely unhindered.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that letter was almost Phoenix's undoing. Like, I don't know what kind of like prompted you, Phoenix, to like suddenly think, oh yeah, I should check chickens, but yeah, We were pretty sure that Kevin had the lead, like for quite a while, like before we checked that. So, like, you know, when on earth do you go back for chickens? But yeah, somehow you managed to pull that through.
Would have saved a lot of time if for like, does it turn night while you're doing child fishing? Like, why the fuck was it like it was daytime when I went in?
Yeah,
time of day passes
slowly.
But it clearly didn't pass much because Dampe was still there and it was already like almost nightfall. Like, does it pass at like a slower rate?
Yeah, it seems like that.
Yeah, I don't know how much I don't know what the rate is, but yeah, it's definitely like it's probably about like a half or maybe a third of normal time.
Quarters.
So, it's quite slow, but time does still pass there.
That's like I've never failed or like hardly if I fail child fishing, I always have more rupees to do it, so I just go out, but I didn't have more rupees then, so I had to get the one on the other side. So I lost a bunch of there, and that made it nighttime, so I couldn't get chickens on my first time, so I had to go all the way up back river again. I had no clue that time passed while I was in there. So
yeah, the other weird thing of fishing as well is that the fish bite differently depending on time of day. So when you're close to dusk, I think it's actually one of the worst times for it because they're less likely to bite.
I don't know why it just ran away because I don't think I got too close to it. I don't know. That's just weird to me. If that happens, I get Rudos on my first time and I go up river and I beat Jabu rather than going up river twice. And that might be the difference maker.
Also getting Serenade a lot earlier would have been really nice.
Well, the thing is, the only thing that lost me, like, was having to climb up river twice. And like having to go back for chickens, I guess, because I got Serenade in that same child. Obviously, I have to get it in like that one cycle.
Okay.
I got Serenade in my child, or I got Jabu done in my child one because I had like a pretty long child one.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't get Rudos till after 2 hours. I thought for sure when I got it I had lost because I was just thinking, man, I've been doing all this stuff without Serenade, and if I would have had Serenade 2 hours ago, like that would have saved so much time.
Yeah, I actually I don't think it saved me any time until like I had to go to water and like one time going back as child because I think I only had 2 child segments. So it didn't save all of that much for me. It's just if I don't fuck up on that fishing, I really think it's like because I lost at least a minute in fishing and I lost another like 2 minutes, 3 minutes by having to climb river again. So yeah, that sucks. I know. When you like look back at it, it's like I lost by 3 minutes. I can probably chalk that up to anything. So I get too mad about it. Like I nearly last location except for fire, so I can't be too upset.
Well, it's unfortunate, but yeah, that's the way it goes sometimes. Yeah, we'll have to see you again next tournament, I guess, but I'm sure you'll be back with a vengeance. Give it another go.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to the Blitz tournament. Hopefully that's fun.
Is that the one Spike's organizing?
Yeah, haven't heard anything yet about it besides the first like announcement of it, but definitely gonna be playing that.
Yeah, it should be fun. Cool. Any last thoughts, questions, comments, anything you guys would like to say?
I mean, it's a fun seed. I really can't be all that salty. Like, I made enough mistakes that I don't think I deserve to win by any means. So, like, congrats, Phoenix, I guess. Like, obviously, Phoenix is like an amazing player. Like, he got like 5th place, 6th place last year. So, do it again this year.
I think we can excuse you being a little bit salty for having lost by 3 minutes because that's always a bit of a feels bad.
Yeah, it was really close, and like both of you played really, really well. So like, there's nothing to be angry about.
Yeah, we said right at the start, I did. So go on.
I probably sound madder than I actually am, but like that's sometimes you just lost location or like close to it.
Rando's
And
gonna
I don't know.
rando.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rando's gonna rando. It's like I don't know. If I go Shadow before GTG, I could get that. There is the thing, like GTG already had 2 Wath items and it's not hinted Wath. The likelihood that it has a third is a little less, but I wanted to free up my Feors. So, I don't know. I think I could, if I go Shadow, well, no, because GTG's in Logic, so I have to do that anyways. No,
I
never
don't really
mind.
feel like any of your plays were wrong. It's just like they were like equally as good, but they just didn't pay off.
Yeah.
Like you can't
Just have
know
to,
that.
like, I even remembered to plant that bean. I really did consider going to, the lake just a little earlier. If I had planted a bean the first time I was there as child somehow, then I think I would have, because I would have been drawn in by that scale on horseback archery to go check the lab. But I did that as child, so the luster of the lab or the luster of like on top of the lab and adult fishing is a lot less than that's potentially well. I mean, I don't know. The strength 3 already resolved the opponent off. I don't know.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I
It was
think
a fun seed.
it was fun. It was definitely fun to watch.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Thank you
It was fun to play
you
as
both
well.
for being involved.
Yeah, thanks for the restream, guys.
Thanks for the restream.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Shout out to our trackers as well. Ginger Sunny, Too Much 13 for being awesome and keeping track of everything that's going on. Lovely people. Yeah, so we have got another tournament match going on right now on ZSR 3. So we're going to go ahead and raid over there. They are about 2 hours in, so if you don't want to be spoiled, you might not want to take part in this raid. So it's up to you. That is Seize versus Keize. So we'll see how they're doing over there. But yeah, we've also got the NA Weekly, which I'm not sure what channel that's going to be on. It's not actually listed on the sheet, so I'm not sure. But it'll probably be on this channel, I'd have thought. Actually, well, I don't know. Best check the schedule, I guess, because I don't know what the hell's going on. It's late. I'm probably going to bed soon. I'm tired, so I don't know what's going on. But yeah. Thanks everyone. Thanks to our runners, our commentators, our trackers, and thanks to all of you for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye.